Oh, one of my favorite baseball players wore 15.
Who's that? Brandon Inge?
If he did, I'm unaware.
He did.
Oh. No, but the guy you told me to model my game after, Justin Pedroia.
He was 15. Did I miss that? I missed that. I'll be damned.
According to what I'm stand out as most iconic players to wear 15.
No. You could be right. Good morning, everyone. I'd go through name by, yeah, he did work for 13 years. I'll be damned. Went right by that.
I do love that you have Brandon Inge down there because I do love Brandon Inge.
I did that for you.
That's my guy.
I know. Thank you for that. You know what, New York Jets, that's the one we got to put on. That'll make my kid happy.
I was deliberately ignoring that name.
That's the most important one. You put him in all caps just so I don't forget.
Thank you, Javier.
Eddie, where is the Eddie and the Cruisers reference from, guys? Did I miss something there?
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, you wouldn't know it. It's a bad. It's not even a bad movie. It's just a movie from back in the day. It's just a movie from back in the day that was on HBO all summer, and we've all seen. If you're of a certain age, you've seen it 50 times.
And somehow I'm Monk.
Oh, I'm grandpa age, man. Don't get yourself. You've witnessed it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks so much for joining us on a Tuesday morning. Hope you are doing well. Jake Miller sitting in with me for a couple hours this morning. Lively show. Pat Kirwan will join us at 8 o'clock. Bud Elliott for his first appearance at 8:38 to talk some college football. And we'll continue with our AFC North talk. Vinny Cerrato in the Pro Hour at 9 o'clock to join us to talk the Ravens. But I bring in my co-pilot for the day, the young Jake Miller. Good morning, son. How are you, sir?
Good morning. We're a couple days closer to college football, so I'm doing spectacular. We actually got some meaningful football this weekend.
Finally. And we will talk a lot of football today on the show. In fact, I don't know how much else we will fit in, much more, maybe a tiny bit of baseball. The Rays won last night, and they deserve to win just because when Detroit took the field, they were wearing the Motor City jerseys, which are the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It has literally become my Clint get off the porch moment. Because here's the thing. There are a lot of teams that, and I get it's the city jersey, and Boston's got those awful green ones, but there are certain, they're awful. I like the Red Sox unis. That's an iconic jersey. You don't change that. And I think Detroit, and I'm biased, but the Old English D is the classiest baseball jersey on the planet. And when they're wearing Motor City with blue and black, they should lose every time they play. I had no issue last night. One, I want Tampa to win the division. Two, Detroit's just been a mess. And three, you wear those jerseys, you deserve to lose.
The city connects across the board. The color rushes. I mean, we can thank the NBA for this, but the NBA alternate jerseys, for the most part, are pretty good and usually pretty clean looking. These other leagues don't know how to do it.
All right, let me ask you. You're a big Georgia fan, and we've got your Georgia guy on the show later this week, Brooks Austin, so fired up about that. That'll be on Thursday. Let me ask you. You're young. You're impressionable. You grew up in the multifaceted jersey thing. And like, I'm not get off my porch guy about all of these. Like, for instance, I think Oregon should wear 40 jerseys. It's theirs. They've owned it from the get-go. But when Penn State plays, when Alabama plays, when your dogs play, I don't want them wearing black.
No.
I want them wearing red, or I want silver breeches. I don't want black. I don't want Florida in the white jerseys. In the all whites. There are certain things that I've come to expect. And as a college football fan, like, the game I remember with Georgia and the Blacks is when they thought they were something and they decided to wear them against Alabama. And I want to say it was like 31-0 at the half. I mean, the game was over before it started. Right. So when you see your team wear a third jersey, what's your initial thought?
Terrified now because of the black jerseys. I mean, I can think of a couple with Georgia where they've worn different. They wore that 80s throwback against Arkansas, played terrible. Black uniforms against Alabama, played terrible. Those god-awful Nike Pro Combats that they forced everybody to wear in the early 2010s against Boise State got boat raced.
So, yeah.
I hate them.
Florida,
you the classic uni, don't mess with it. I don't care if you're Georgia or USC.
Right. I'm with you. So, and the Tigers jersey is a classic jersey. Their home whites is an iconic jersey. They've only been playing baseball for 130 years there. So I just don't like it. And I was openly rooting for the Rays last night for a bunch of reasons. So that's my get off the porch moment. But we are just 4 days away from meaningful college football. We are 15 days away, 2 weeks tomorrow, from the National Football League. Bud Elliott to join us to talk a lot of college ball. Jake and I will talk a lot of college ball before then. You and I were talking last night, and it sounds to me like you at least believe you've got a pretty good gauge on 3 of the 4 big divisions. That the Big Ten, the SEC, and the ACC, you think you have an idea what's going on. You're not really sure in the Big 12, and that's all right, because none of our listeners really care about that conference. But when it comes to the SEC, how many teams do you think are vying for the 4 or 5 playoff spots? Because we all know, unless they screw up, Georgia and Texas are going to be playoff teams. They have to screw it up to not be there. So take those 2 teams out. We'll put them as, their playoff teams. How many other teams are vying for the final 3 spots?
4, I could hear the argument for 5.
Okay, and they are?
You got LSU, Oklahoma, right, Alabama, and I think still Ole Miss.
Okay.
The 5th I could hear is actually Florida instead of A&M.
Yeah, I wonder about, but I think you have to at least put A&M in the discussion for this reason. We all know financially A&M is playing in the deep end. They have the money. They lost, 4 starters on the offensive line, 2 on the defensive line. That's tough to recover from. And I know it's a different conference, but if Miami can get through all of their troubles on each side of the line because they can write a check to make it go away, don't think for a minute that Texas A&M can't do the same thing. They returned their quarterback. I don't love him, but again, he's coming back. So, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Their schedule, not as easy as it was a year ago.
And I think they had the benefit of an easier schedule last year. The more and more I watch of Marcel Reed back from last year, kind of the less impressed I get. I'm curious on what Brooks says about him Thursday, but I don't know. Right now I feel comfortable saying Florida is going to be better than A&M, and that feels weird to say.
But they may not have the record to show it because the Gators have a gauntlet of a schedule. All right. Here are the teams then you say have based on what you said, you're saying Tennessee has no shot. And they decided to start the young quarterback. That was announced yesterday. They've got a true freshman starting at quarterback. So that's fascinating to me for the Vols. But they've got really 3 games to get him ready. And when you look at it, they've got 6 because they host Texas. If they lose that game, it's hosting Alabama, and their playoff hopes are still right there on the cusp. So Texas, he can get thrown to the Wolves if he learns enough to get to Alabama, but that's neither here nor there. So you're saying Texas really no shot, A&M really no shot.
Yeah, Tennessee I think's a year away. I don't love A&M. I've seen this song and dance so many times since they've joined the SEC. They get hyped up. I feel like this is eerily similar to after Johnny's Heisman year, where it's like, well, how good's A&M going to be? He's coming back. And what did they go, 8-4 that year?
Well, and I think their over-under is 8.5, if I'm not mistaken. But they're at LSU. They're at Alabama. They're at Oklahoma. They have home games with Tennessee and Texas. And if Kentucky can beat someone, maybe that's the team they beat. But you didn't mention South Carolina, and I'm guessing that's for the same reason you didn't mention Texas A&M, because South Carolina and Kentucky, to me, are the two teams that were getting a little hype thrown at them. But when you dig down at their schedule, it seems unobtainable for them to be even at a 9-3 number, where you could say, look at how strongly they played. I mean, Kentucky, I don't think Kentucky's going to be, they're going to struggle to be bowl eligible.
I agree. And I love everything they're doing at Kentucky right now, but I fear that they're going to go like 5-7 and it's going to be all for nothing. But I think Kentucky's going to be a team of moral wins this year, which mean nothing in the sport. But South Carolina's got the most upside because I still think that kid can play.
Yeah, Sellers is good, but they've got 4 tough road games. I don't know what Clemson will be at the end of the season. I don't ever look at Clemson as a team that's going to quit on Dabo, but we'll see. They open with LSU. The other side of this we give the SEC the benefit of nearly every doubt, and they deserve it. I'm not even trying to complicate things by putting an argument saying, well, they don't deserve all the credit they get. No, they deserve every bit of credit they get. And yes, it's been 3 years in a row with the Big Ten winning the Natty, and the SEC hasn't even played for it in a while now. But the September for the SEC has never been so important, because there are games. We all circle Ohio State and Texas, but we've talked about it a lot. Michigan and Oklahoma, Louisville and Ole Miss, and Clemson and LSU. Now, I don't think the SEC has to win all 4, but they damn well better win 2, and I think they should almost win 3 if they want to stick their chest up, because they're trying to get 5 teams, Jake. At the end of the day, they want 5, and to me, they've got to go 3-1 in those games to have that momentum working their way, because they could cannibalize themselves in conference play.
Very, very much so. I think that Michigan-Oklahoma game is one I keep going back to, because those are, I don't want to say like 2 strong playoff contenders, but it's 2 teams I think can very well make the playoffs. And it's so early in the year, and it's tough to tell, because it's weird looking back at Ohio State and Texas last year, and we just crowned Ohio State after that game and bashed Texas. And it's like, it was what, 17-14?
It was a little wider than that, I thought, on the field. But yes, it was a close game. It was a defensive game. Who knows what we'll get this year? But 4 big SEC games all in the first couple weeks of the season. Don't discount that Ole Miss Louisville game, because if we indeed think that Ole Miss is a playoff team and they lose that football game, well, that's at the end of the year, that's going to be the argument that, your Miami Notre Dame argument from a year ago. People are going to poke holes in that loss.
Yes.
And LSU is a near 10-point favorite against Clemson. And Dabo has put it out there. We're no good. We don't have anybody. You know what? It's Levitt's first game. There's a ton of pressure on Lane. Now with all of the 5th-year players, and Lane saying, I'm just doing what everybody else is. And Sankey just saying, well, we really need Congress to do something. We're going to let them play, but, we don't like it. I mean, this is not what college – if we're going to pay kids in college, it needs to be in a brown paper bag. They cannot get a check from the NFL and then come to our league where we pay $2 That's crossing the line, but we're not going to do anything about it, okay?
They at least got to wait in the McDonald's drive-through line.
We'll get Jake's thought on coming back from the NFL. Miller and Moulton, Jake Miller riding shotgun. Thanks for listening.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Tim, you rightly win the award of making me feel stupid before 6:30. And I got nothing. I got no comeback for you. I got nothing other than you were right. I am wrong. You are a very smart man. I am a very dumb man. I'm not going to go as far as to say you're good looking and I'm ugly because I've never seen you. But I'll stop short of that.
I somehow missed Bud making fun of Barstool guys last night.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Tim, you please take shots like that. If I say something stupid, I deserve to be punched right in the nose. I've got no issue with it whatsoever. I got up too early this morning. That's the problem. Will Clemson be good, Paul? That's a great question. Will they be over? That's really the question. I think their over-under's like...
Someone just said they bet over 7.5 in the chat. Let me see what old DraftKings has to say.
$7.5 minus 140. Heavy juice on 7.5. Man, SMU over 8.5. I like that over.
Yeah. You know the one I got.
I know. Yours is riding this Saturday.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Aren't they playing that in Brazil or something?
But Cavanball, you got to remember for Clemson, they play both South Carolina. Rivalry game in South Carolina is decent, and they play LSU. So, and I think they have Miami.
I think so.
They have Miami. They host Miami. They don't have much else. They're at Cal. Cal's better. And that's been a tougher place to win for teams. They're at Florida State. They're at Syracuse. But come on now. They host Virginia Tech. It's right there.
Outside of that North Carolina State Virginia game,
TCU, North Carolina. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fun. Neither of them are going to be that. Well, I guess people think TCU is going to be decent.
TCU's got a shot to be a top 4 team in that conference. I want them to boat race Belichick. I do. And I'd liked Bill at New England.
I turned around as I got older on them.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks for joining us this morning. Jake Miller hanging out for a couple of hours, then Pat Kirwan, Bud Elliott, Vinny Cerrato, all back to back to back to back on the show. Well, there's a couple of things that happen that are outside of college football. And one of them is another pro football owner that was trying to, dip his wick. And he got caught. Talking about Jed York, the owner of the San Francisco 49ers, apparently trying to pick up a hooker at a trailer park outside of Youngstown, Ohio. Now, he is from Youngstown. So after discovering that he was from Youngstown, apparently, even though he's listed as married, they filed for divorce back in May. So he's back home and went to the place that he lost his virginity at when he was 16. There are two things that I surmised from this story. That this trailer park was an area back when he was much younger that he lost his virginity. And I'm not even joking. Like, okay, you know where the hookers are in Youngstown? It's over in that trailer park. That's A. B, he not only was trying to get a hooker, he was trying to get drugs.
They usually go hand in hand.
Thank you.
You usually don't have one without the other.
And I don't understand for the life of me. And I've never understood it. Look, take morality and move it to the other side for me, okay? I'm not going to preach morality to any of you. And I don't really care. If this guy wants to get a hooker and he's a billionaire, is he that stupid to go to a trailer park after he went to an online hooker site? I mean, even in Youngstown, can't you get somebody from Cleveland? Isn't there a high-priced prostitute somewhere within an hour? You are a billionaire after all.
Sure, he could have hit up Urban.
Now, that he just danced. That's allegedly. But I mean, you've got Kraft going to the Rub and Tug a couple years back. Now we've got York going to the trailer park brothel. I don't get it. Like, if you want to get a prostitute, that is your business. I understand that there are a lot of human trafficking issues, and I'm not trying to make light of all of the bad things that go on in that type of a world. I am just merely acknowledging that type of a world exists in our society, in this country. It always has and likely always will. I'm not saying that makes it good. I'm not saying that I've ever used one of these, because I haven't. However, if you are going to, okay, I know that Cleveland is not Las Vegas. I get it. But I'm pretty sure I've been at casinos in our great state and went, wonder what she does for a living. So it just seems to me that if you're a person of means and influence, you shouldn't have to resort to what Jim the barber is doing. That's all.
I mean, anyone that's seen The Wolf of Wall Street, there's 3 levels to them. You think you'd be able to get the blue chips there?
One would think. One would think. And you know, I mean, he can't fly across the country and go to Vegas or New York, but I've just got to think, he was in Youngstown. I got to think Cleveland's got something to offer. That's all I'm saying.
And is Pittsburgh that far from Youngstown?
It's not. He's not that Cleveland. He wasn't that far to Cleveland. That was a close. Cleveland or Pittsburgh could have gone in either direction. And I'm guessing you can do it in both. Not positive, but I'm just guessing. So the other thing, yesterday, the SEC got really mad, everybody. I mean, they are mad. And they didn't say that they're mad at Lane Kiffin, but they're kind of mad at one of their own. But in typical SEC fashion, they did not blame Lane Kiffin. They did not mention Lane Kiffin. They blamed the NCAA and needed help from the government. After a Monday evening video conference of the presidents and chancellors of the SEC, they issued the following statement. College athletics, not former professional athletics, have been at the heart of the Southeastern Conference. Individuals who choose to leave college athletics, sign professional playing contracts, and compete professionally should not then be permitted to return to college competition. Allowing that to occur will blur the line between college and professional sports, create significant competitive equity concerns, and reduced opportunities for high school and current college athletes. College sports are for college athletes. The current confusion around national eligibility standards emphasize the need to advance the Protect College Sports Act. I mean, they're almost angry.
Almost.
You know what that really is? And Jake, I don't know if I've ever used this on you. Your mother may have. And no, I don't blame her for it. But
I know where you're going.
My grandma did it to me once when I threw a party at her condominium when I was in high school, and she got in trouble and nearly thrown out. I was brought to the house. It was my mother and my grandmother and I, and my grandmother looked at me and she said, Mark, I am disappointed in you.
Yep. Not mad. I'm disappointed.
So that to me is saying, I'm disappointed in you, Lane, without ever mentioning his name.
Yep.
Because they're aware, without any laws, that there are other SEC teams that are going to sign kids here in the next 24 hours that are getting cut from NFL teams.
Yep. I mean, I just saw another former Georgia player just sued. I mean, they're coming out left and right now. And until, I mean, we know Greg Sankey doesn't have a backbone, so he ain't going to do nothing. But
well, it certainly sounds like I honestly believe that the presidents and chancellors don't like this, but are too big of you-know-whats to do anything about it. I mean, at least the Big 12 threatened to not play Texas Tech in anything. I mean, they went as hardcore after Texas Tech eternally as they could, so Sorsby was not allowed to play there. It doesn't appear, at least on day one, that the SEC is going to be hardline when it comes to these players.
It certainly doesn't seem that way, and wasn't the SEC the same conference that also said they wouldn't play Texas Tech?
Right.
You know.
They all did. And I guess the only thing, I don't think this will change. The one thing I will say in their statement that I wholeheartedly agree with is that it reduces opportunity for high school players. I mean, I don't think, they're either cutting some 4-string punter or they're cutting, they've got to open up a roster spot. Well, who's going to get cut? And I don't like the timing of it. If there's a roster, if these schools anticipated this happening and left roster spots open for this, I don't like it, but at least they did it. If they're cutting a guy to get to this, that stinks.
Yeah.
That stinks in late August for sure.
And we talked about it a little last night. I mean, it's that 3-star freshman that now doesn't get the second, third team reps, is not getting the same reps on scout team. He doesn't have the opportunity to shine. I mean, like a Lad McConkey, who was a 3-star athlete out of college that popped off. I mean, there's plenty of examples of kids that just bought their time and end up being NFL stars that might not get the chance now.
They're going to have to buy their time at lesser schools and transfer in. That's really what's happening, is that you're either going to start at a low-level Big Ten school, because like Purdue, they lost their top 3 receivers, all to better Division I programs. So some of these schools, the Purdues right now, the Michigan States, the Rutgers, the Mississippi States, they're just breeding players for other schools.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough to get out of that cycle.
I mean, Michigan State had one of the best players they had in the last 7 years and lost him to Indiana this year.
And he'll be a star.
Yes, he will.
Hoosiers. Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 is next. Thanks for listening.
Do you have a sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Brian, that was simply done to combat the pros that were playing for the rest of the world at that point. I mean, that's when the communist bloc still played all of their professional athletes. So we wanted apples and apples. Adam, you could go back for one sporting event, and I'm saying sporting event loosely. Your choices are, let's see. I'll give you 2 Gator games. I'll give you pick the Spurrier coaching game of your choice, the Tebow game of your choice, or I can send you to the Pontiac Silverdome to see the Hulkster and Andre the Giant.
Might be a good, bad, or ugly for tomorrow that I just sent you.
Oh, all right. Oh, my God.
Have you seen the costume?
No, I haven't.
See if
I got to find it. I think that crosses a line for me.
See if I can find the costume. There it is. I'm sending it to you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't even. No, I can't do that.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty good there, Ambient. That's a pretty good list.
Yep.
That's anything else is really baseball or before your time. And most of the baseball's before your time. I need one of those musical stanchions, where you put the, because I've got the drawer out and it's a little tight because I like my stuff here. I got the 3 computer screens, and if I can keep Phil Steele, if it's open, I can get to where I want to go pretty quickly with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Adam. I love that. That's where you see. I know where to hit you. I mean all right, Silverdome for Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, or you actually get to see Bigfoot.
Follow a guy on TikTok that does alternate college football timelines, and he posted one about what if the Tim Tebow speech never happened, and I would love to live in that timeline.
I could find it and play it for you today.
I'm good. He tortured me enough.
Tim, I don't know, because I never saw Andre, but I saw the Big Show, and that's the largest human I've ever seen, Tim. We had front row. I actually had to pay for them. I worked at the arena, and we paid for our first wrestling, and they brought everybody.
Is that Atlanta?
No, this is here at the time. It was Everblades Arena. I mean, this was we had everybody. I mean, we had this is late 90s, so wrestling's pretty good.
You're still in the Attitude Era or whatever.
Yeah, I mean they were all there. It was.
As big as a wrestling guy as you were, you never got me into that.
No. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thank you so much for listening. TJ from Floor Meisters is texting me, letting me know how bad the Tigers looked last night. You're right, man. You're right. You wouldn't let your employees wear an outfit like that. They couldn't sell new flooring to anybody. Not wearing that jersey. Telling you right now. But Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. A couple of texts regarding the Jed York situation. Texter says, sometimes you want that White Castle, the trailer park of burgers. Another texter says, at $140, escorts mean everyone, including owners, can be victim to the salary cap. Well played. Well played. Time now for
the starting five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting five.
We start with baseball. Tampa Bay 4-1 over those lousy Tiger uniforms. Aranda drove in 2 runs, including a solo home run. Drew Rasmussen, 6 strong innings, and the Rays win game 1 of the series in Detroit, handing the Tigers their 6th straight loss. Rasmussen now 14-5, won his 7th consecutive start, limited the Tigers to 1 run and 3 hits while striking out 5. Clevenger, Manuel Rodriguez, who returned to the game after a long layoff, and Brian Baker each had an inning of scoreless relief. Baker, his 38th save. Chandler Simpson had 2 hits and drove in a run for the Rays, and he's really fast. Made a great play in the field, too. Boston, a 4-2 win over Miami. Anthony Ziegler hit a go-ahead triple. I love triples. In the top of the 9th inning, and the Red Sox rallied to defeat the Marlins, a road game, even though they were chanting, "Let's go Red Sox." Chapman pitched a scoreless 9th. That's his 30th save of the season. 4 straight wins for the Red Sox, who actually threw 2 Marlin runners out at the plate, for what it's worth. Pete Fairbanks left the game in the 9th after 5 pitches, unspecified injury for him. Alcantara pitched well, quality start, 102 pitches, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, but Boston would win late. Other news for both teams. First off, Miami. They let go the majority of their pro scouting department yesterday. Sources spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak freely on the topic. Those familiar with the Marlins' decision did not specify how many scouts were being let go, but said the move reflected the front office's desire to use more video during the scouting process. So we're going to get cheaper. We're already the cheapest team in baseball, but now we're going to rely on video to scout players. Okay, good luck. And Boston had a unique situation yesterday as well. Garrett Crochet lost some of the control over his future. Thanks to a unique provision in his contract, Crochet, who has been on the injured list for most of the season, last pitched on April 25th. He has a clause activated by the team that takes away his 2030 opt-out. He has spent 120 consecutive days on the IL, which triggers a clause that voids his 2030 opt-out. His salary is set at a mere $30 million for his age 32 season. Washington, behind a 3-run homer from Darren Lyle, pounded Colorado 13-3. Cade Cavalli turned in 6 innings, and Washington snapped a 4-game losing streak with the win over the Rockies. Texas, 11-2 over the White Sox. Corey Seager, 3 for 4, 3 ribbies. Jake Berger and Wyatt Langford each homered while collecting 2 hits and 2 RBIs as the Rangers had an easy victory over Chicago. Cleveland, 4-2 over the Angels. Austin Hedges, a 2-run homer as the Guardians went out west. Stephen Kwan had 2 hits and scored a run in the opener of the series. Cleveland's now won 3 in a row. Minnesota, a 9-6 victory in Sacramento over the Athletics. Ryan Creeder homered, and Zebby Matthews had 7 innings of 1-run ball. The Athletics scored 5 in the 9th. Buxton had 3 hits and 4 runs for the Twinkies. Seattle, 9-2 over Philadelphia. The big dumper goes yard. Not once, not twice, but 3 times a lady, as he became the first Mariner player to hit 3 home runs in a game at T-Mobile Park. The last Seattle player to hit 3 home runs at home was Edgar Martinez. He did so last century. couple days before you were born, Jacob, May the 18th, 1999, at the Kingdome. Let's see. Cubby, 7 spit over Arizona. Michael Conforto and Carson Kelly hit back-to-back home runs in a 3-run 6th inning. Kevin Gausman threw 7 scoreless, and Chicago with the win. The Cubs have 12 homers in their past 4 games. Pittsburgh in 12 took down San Diego. Nick Gonzalez, an RBI single in the top of the 12th, and after getting out of the 11th with bases loaded, the Pirates were able to get the bottom of the side out in the 12th and get the win. Finally, San Francisco beat Cincinnati 5-0. Rafael Devers, a 3-run home run, and 5 relievers took over for the injured starter Weisenhunt, who exited early and threw a 5-hitter. More baseball news. Houston fired their general manager yesterday. That's how badly it's going. The Houston Astros, after last night, are a half game out of first. His contract was to expire at the end of the season, and the owner said, Dana Brown, I don't even want to look at you anymore. Their owner, Jim Crane, will oversee baseball operations through the transition period. To the NFL we go. 49ers. I've already mentioned it. It's worth mentioning it again because it is something. Jed York pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges after being arrested on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. He apparently was going to hook up with a female for $140. Per multiple reports, he filed for divorce from his wife in May, for what it's worth. Deshaun Watson will open the season as the Browns starting quarterback. It was announced Monday after the show. He did another news conference where he apologized for all the things he said Saturday about the fans. New England and Houston trade. Texans getting Kayshon Boutte from New England. They're sending Jalen Reed, a safety. They're sending a 6th round, or he was a 6th round pick, and they're sending a 7th round pick in 2028. Mike McCarthy said the Steelers are at an impasse with Joey Porter Jr. The cornerback is sidelined on the physically unable to perform list, but he wants to get paid. That would probably make him more physically able to perform if he got a new contract. Jalen Ramsey, who was on the PUP list and began practicing yesterday, said we need the whole secondary out there. They've got to pay Joey Porter. Okay. Ravens now find that their center, Danny Pinter's out for the season. Remember, their center signed with the Raiders in the offseason, so Pinter was scheduled to take over for Lindenbaum, and now he's out. The big defensive tackle, they're unsure whether he will be ready for the start of the regular season as well. College football, mentioned it last segment. The SEC presidents and chancellors are going to meet with Sankey on Tuesday and Wednesday. These meetings were previously scheduled. We'll see if they do anything after that glowing statement they made wanting Congress to do something about eligibility. Florida announced that Aaron Philo will be their starting quarterback, although I would suspect both QBs will play in the first 2 games. Tennessee announced that true freshman Faison Brandon is the Vols starter. He's a 6'4" pocket passer, signed with the Vols in December and ended up beating out second-year quarterback George McIntyre. Jake, this is your area of expertise. I mean, he was somewhat high. I guess he was highly touted. I think he's a 4-star.
Very highly touted, yeah.
So do they have enough time with the true freshman, or do you think more of what you said before, this is next year?
I think this is setting up for next year. Not that they're going to be bad, but this is very much setting up for next year.
Alabama announced that Keelan Russell is their starter. Former 5-star, competed with Austin Mack. He is going to get the job for Kalen DeBoer's Crimson Tide. Good move in your opinion?
Man's got a cannon.
And my favorite college football story of the day. The executive director of Ole Miss's NIL Collective said that the FBI searched the Rebels football office for recording devices after Lane Kiffin left for LSU. Walker Jones, who co-founded the Grove Collective, told the Assorted Crackers podcast. I want everybody to just take that in. Walker Jones, so again, his name is Walker, and he co-founded the Grove Collective, which means he's worth millions of dollars. And he went on a podcast called Assorted Crackers.
From the state of Mississippi.
There's nothing about that that's not sensational. The FBI searched for bugs in the football offices of the Manning Center once Kiffin bolted for LSU. He said, we actually had the FBI come through and walk the building for bugs and everything, he told the podcast. We knew kind of what was in Baton Rouge, and we knew how they operated. I remember getting on my knees and looking underneath the desk, like checking for, is there some sort of bug in my office? When asked why he was looking under his desk, Jones said, trust me, you don't know this guy like I do. College football's 4 days away, everybody.
We've got 4 days. Hot yoga studio for bugs, too.
Shaden Sharp, guard for the Blazers, tore his meniscus. He's expected to miss 6 months. He averaged almost 21 last year, but missed a lot of the season because of a fracture in his left fibula. And at 10 minutes before the hour, that was the starting five. 5 big stories and bugging of an office by a guy named Walker, or checking for bugs in an office by a guy named Walker here on Miller and Moulton. I love it. I mean,
great.
The Grove, and I've never been, and it's very high on the list of places that I want to see a game at. I just think it would be fun. I don't know if the LSU game would be the game I'd want to go for my first Grove experience, because I think it's going to be far more hostile than a normal Saturday in the Grove. I think they're going to be uptight. They're going to be angry. And if they lose, their season's ruined.
Yes. That fan base has to despise Lane Kiffin.
And they are at the top of the I hate Lane Kiffin list. And think about that. There are a lot of places that don't like Lane. And Lane goes to both Ole Miss and Tennessee this year.
God, it's going to be fun.
I mean, the SEC has dialed this up right. Make no mistake.
They might not have the personalities at head coach like they used to, but the storylines are very much still there.
Well, and Lane leads the way. So, yeah, they've got, that's late in the year, November 21st, Tennessee hosting LSU, and I believe it's September 19th. It's very early in the year when Ole Miss, because that's the same week as the Florida-Auburn game. Yeah, and I've said all along, I mean, look, the eyes of college football are going to be in Oxford for LSU and Ole Miss, and rightly so. But here in the Sunshine State, that's the game I've circled, and I think most of you have. It is going to determine the fate to me of both teams.
I'd agree. We're going to see. I kind of really like what Auburn's done on offense. It stinks that all those guys left. That they had a really talented group that all transferred out, but they're going back to, I think, an offense that suits Auburn better, more similar to Gus Malzahn. So it's going to be a tough game for Florida.
Golish can coach. We know that. He's not afraid of Florida. He beat him last year when he was at South Florida, and he's got the same quarterback that did it. And that kid can play. Brown's good.
Yeah, and that style fits him perfectly. I mean, he's mobile and a good pocket passer.
But you brought up the point quickly there that Auburn lost players. Where they lost players is they lost some really good receivers. Yeah. And smart. And even, I think it was on one of Bud's podcasts that I listened to in the SEC. Someone on their show was like, well, I don't know why these receivers left. I would stay based on the style they're playing.
Yes, the style's would have fit those players so much better. Cam Coleman would have thrived in this offense I think they're going to run this year. So, it stinks, but they brought in a lot.
He'll be all right where he's at, too.
Oh, yeah.
Miller and Moulton. Talking a little college ball. Jake will have some predictions on the other side. I don't know if he's giving me playoff teams. I don't know what he's giving me. I really don't. I left this up to him. Somebody's got to work on this show besides me, rather. I've already had my get off my lawn moment, not get off my porch, which I said very incorrectly earlier because I was hyped up about these awful uniforms that the Tigers wore last night. But good for the Rays. They get a win. We are closing in on college football. It begins Saturday. We are 15 days away from the National Football League season, and we'll have the best number 15s coming up next hour as well. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I will say, I know you wanted Summerall, so you're mad that Alex Golish got the job. Go look at what South Florida's record was and how quickly he turned them around.
They were awful before he got there. Like, awful.
Awful. Like, he won more games last year than they won in the 5 combined before that. I mean, the man can coach.
Was it Strong before him?
Oh, God. They went through a bunch of guys.
I
mean, because you're...
I know Charlie Strong coached there.
And they hired guys that I actually thought were going to be good and never worked. Do they have it listed here? Let's see. Coaching. Of course, it doesn't have who was there. Jeff Scott, who was there before Charlie Strong. He was 4-26.
Yeah, I recognize that name.
He was the Clemson OC.
That's right. Yep.
He was the Clemson OC, and he wanted the job. He was excited about it. We had him on the show. I mean,
I wonder if Lincoln's brother's still the OC at Clemson. Can't remember.
Not until right before the first weekend of the NFL, Wes.
We still doing the Miller Bowl? Me, you, and Maddie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's fired up. She may have some Gators gear by then.
Oh, my God. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
I'll have her in Gators gear one week, Auburn gear the next, Tennessee after that. I won't buy it. Like, this is where if I knew somebody that owned a store and I could leave the tag in, I would do it. I guess I could return it on Amazon, but I'm not that cheap. That's funny.
And I can't even get you back because I hate all the same schools you hate.
Right.
Like, I won't wear Michigan. I won't wear Ohio State. I won't wear Notre Dame.
Yes, he does. I agree he does.
I just think your offense is going to be completely different this year.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks for joining me on this Tuesday morning. Jake Miller riding shotgun with me this morning. Yeah, the names are the same for a reason. He'll be here for the next hour, and then he has to go earn a living. I don't pay him enough, and not intending to. He did. I will say, you did call me out. You're like, really? You want me to do the show with you? You've told me my whole life not to get into this line of work because there's no money in it. Now you want me to work for you. So, but
grateful for the opportunity nonetheless.
All right. Well, and he knows how little he's getting paid. So he understands right away that this is not a business to get rich in. All right. Let me ask you, because I know you like college ball more than pro ball, but you pay attention. So Deshaun Watson plays badly on Saturday night, played the second half. Numbers were lousy. Shedeur played better, led him on a drive. His interview was impeccable. He actually gave a really good sideline interview. Sounded like someone who could lead your team.
I'd agree.
Skip the talent part. He sounded good. He said the right things.
He sounded like an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, talked about Deshaun and their relationship. And it's about 8 minutes long. It's worth listening to if you don't like him, because it may change your mind a little bit. I think it's always good when we listen to things that can make us think about someone that we've got or already have thoughts on. Now, none of us like Deshaun Watson. He's not a good person. Whatever he did with 74 masseuses, it's not good. We all know that. Then, after he gets booed, and he was booed when he got hurt, which is a no-class move by fans. But he got booed again, and then he he went on a pretty good verbal attack of the Cleveland fans. Then he gets named starter, and then he goes on the mea culpa, which I'm guessing Moulton, the PR department, the owners, the GM, whomever, said, you're starting. Now you need to go apologize because you sounded like an ass.
Yeah.
Grow up, be a man.
I'm pretty sure Todd, after that interview that Deshaun gave, said that it was his play, which the fact that he was like, it's not, they're booing me because of my past, not because of how I play. No, it's both. It's both.
Right. And I think, look, Cleveland stinks. We all know the Browns are a dreadful franchise and mostly have been a dreadful franchise, with the exception of a handful of years here and there. And we all know what happened, the drive, the fumble, the bad luck when they were good, okay? And for most of it, they've been bad. All right. So now their owner signs a player who used to be able to play. He's been injured twice since and doesn't look like he can play. But here's my question to you. I think it's obvious who the better quarterback is at this time. And I think you have to play Watson. I do.
Yeah.
You spent all this money on him. You need to find out. Would you have started Watson, because you're gonna eat all kinds of money? You stupidly extended him to try to ease some cap things, and it's made it worse. But do you think there's any way, if you go Shedeur first, that you then, if you go to Watson, Shedur's salvageable? Because to me, this is the only direction you can go.
Yeah, I think this is the right play. You're paying the guy, what, $200 million or something like that. It's easier to start him and bench him than, like you said, have the possibility of ruining Shedeur. Like, if you give him a short leash and bench him, he may never be the same again.
Think about what Cleveland has this year. We already know it's not a very good roster. They lost their best player on defense. They lost their defensive coordinator, who not only had Myles Garrett, but they actually had a pretty decent defense. They've got 2 rookies at wide receiver that are expected to start. They have a brand new top to bottom offensive line. Why put Shedeur? And I'm not a Shedeur fan. I don't know if he can play. I've said it all along. I thought in college he threw a very catchable ball. When I watched him play, and Jake, you were not a good quarterback, but you played the position. There is a difference between a catchable ball and a non-catchable ball, right?
Very much so.
And I thought he threw a catchable ball. I think he goes backwards too much and doesn't step up into the pocket. Are those traits that can be learned and improved upon? Well, I think all can. But with a new line, with all these new receivers, if Shedeur plays, it sets him up for failure, doesn't it?
Yes. Why hold his feet to the fire when you don't have to? He already doesn't process the game very quickly, and with a brand new O-line, that is not a recipe for success.
So you've got Watson going to start there. We still are trying to figure out, because, Penix was activated yesterday, and I guess the Falcons think that that's enough time to perhaps let him be the one. I would name Tua the starter for the same reason we just talked about, and I would name Cousins the starter for the same reason. I mean, Mendoza had a bad game. He threw a pick 6. He didn't look really good. What's your rush?
I remember the days when I was a kid where even top 10 guys didn't start right away. And now it's like, it just fire them in there immediately. There's a speed difference between college and the NFL. There's a talent difference. Defenses are extremely hard to read in the NFL. Why make these, I guess they're not really kids, but why make them struggle when they don't have to? Ease them in.
Right. And and look not everybody can do it. I don't know if Shedeur can play. I don't know if Penix will be any good. I think Mendoza can be good, but we have no idea yet. I mean, the hit rate for a first-round draft pick in the quarterback is about 50%. And we're talking about Shedeur, who's a 5th-round pick. Mendoza, obviously a first-round pick. Penix, a first-round pick. The odds are one of the 2 of those guys are not going to work out. But those are the quarterback jobs. Watson named yesterday. I would imagine we're going to hear Cousins by the end of today. I think that's silly to even be messing around. Kubiak made all these comments that we want no job is safe. That's great. Can you move on with this? And can we tell everybody that Cousins is starting? And Atlanta is quickly moving into a team that I had said in the NFC, To me, you had the Giants, the Commanders, and Arizona that had no shot at the playoffs. I am slowly putting Atlanta among those teams in the NFC, even in that god-awful division, because the pass rusher that got arrested, he's done for 8 games. I don't know the quarterback situation. I think Stefanski can coach, but I don't know how this team can get to 8. I really
defense was bad last year. They have 2 good weapons on offense, but doesn't really matter when both your quarterbacks are mediocre at best.
Right. And their best pass rusher is done for 8 games. And he's a horrible person that no one liked on the team. And we'll see how much longer that career goes. I'm sure someone will take a shot on talent. But from what I was told by people that are in the Atlanta locker room, he was not liked by anyone. And he was basically, Raheem Morris was the guy that kind of kept him in line. And now that he's not there, what happened? So those are some of the things going on. NFL quarterback situations. Are any of these teams playoff teams? Of course not. If they were, they would have a quarterback. They would already have their quarterback settled. It's the one thing that you have to have in the league. We will talk some Baltimore Ravens. They have a new coach. They have the same quarterback with a new coach and trying to do something that they've not been able to do with Lamar. Heading into the season, Josh Allen probably has all of the pressure on him to get to the final game. Are we getting to the point where we don't think Lamar ever will?
Certainly seems that way. I mean, who have they beat in the playoffs outside of the Steelers? I don't know. And I love Josh Allen, but I think it's kind of the same thing. It's piss or get off the pot. Like, come on.
So we are 2 weeks and a day away from the start of the NFL season. We are 4 days away from the start of the college football season. I know you have some. I did ask you one question. I said this before, and we've got about 3 minutes, so I don't know if that's enough time. But were you able to determine what 9-3 teams, in your estimation, have a shot to not win their conference, but to go 9-3 and make the playoff?
Texas, Ohio State are the big 2.
Do they have to win the game and then lose 3 more? I mean, or is it the other way? They have to lose the game and then still get in.
Yeah, I think like you can lose that game and still get in. Ohio State's the better example because they legitimately could lose 3 games this year. Their schedule is not easy. But if you beat Texas and then you lose to Indiana and Oregon and drop 1 more game.
Yeah, Michigan or USC, I think, are both the schedule. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think USC is going to be decent this year. Those are the 2 I think have the strongest chance.
We'll get into that with Bud Elliott coming up in about 90 minutes' time. Bud to join us on the show. Pat Kirwan will join us for 2 segments to talk the National Football League. And we'll talk with Vinny Cerrato about this Ravens team with if the big fella on defense is starting the year hurt, they were really easy to run through when he didn't play last year. So I'm concerned about that defense if that's a long-term thing. Right now, it looks like it's just a week 1 thing. But people already worried about the receiving core in Baltimore. It's always been a problem there. You don't have, who's Lamar going to throw it to? They want him to run less. And so when you look at the Ravens, how does the offense with the new coach, how do things change in Baltimore? And is this shaping up to be Cincinnati's division with the Bengals being the only team that bring back their coach? Pittsburgh and Baltimore starting something new. Cleveland. They'll probably beat Cincinnati once because they seem to do it every year. But is this the Bengals' year? We talked Bengals yesterday. We talked the Browns back on Friday. We'll do the Ravens today and work like hell to do the Steelers tomorrow. When we come back, it's the best 15s, and I get to have some fun with young Jacob because, well, maybe not the best 15 ever, but the best 15 to ever play in this state. Ruined the majority of my son's childhood.
Yes. Especially since I lived in Florida for that period.
Do you still have nightmares of Tim Tebow?
Yes. And Percy Harvin and Spikes. Yeah.
That's got to make a Gator fan feel good just hearing those names. Man, you want that back. And
Yes.
Summerall's the guy that's going to do it. I actually think they're heading in the right direction, but it's all on that Auburn game week 3. Miller and Moulton, the best 15s. That's next. Thanks for listening.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Georgia G, not a Packers G ambient. Same. You guys kind of screwed me in the NFL department.
With teams?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of any team, so I don't know how I screwed you.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you were never really a Lions fan.
You were more of a Lions fan than I was because they drafted Stafford.
Stafford, yeah. But like I liked the Falcons when I was a kid because of Vic until the dog thing.
So they're talking to Phoenix about the 34th team.
Oh, my God.
How many chances is this city going to get?
Well, they're trying to give Atlanta a third.
Right. 2 teams, like, apparently those
Houston
or Austin are going to get one.
I think it should be Houston.
I think it should be Austin.
Really?
I think I like when you get one team. I mean, look at the start Vegas got for being first. Carolina, and I know you hate them, but it does well.
Yeah. Is Austin close to Dallas, though?
No.
Okay. I don't know Texas that well.
And apparently the Suns owner is in zero danger of losing the franchise because his company had a $452 million quarterly loss. That seems like a big loss. I don't know.
That's pretty large. Yeah, I saw he was in some hot water. Did not know that.
This just in. Texas is kind of big.
I knew it was a large state, but...
And I don't know the geography that well either. I've been to Austin. I've been to Dallas. I've been to San Antonio. I've never been to Houston. I just know they're all very different.
Yeah. I've only been west of the Mississippi once.
That's when we went to Oregon?
Yeah. They got the Southeast down pretty good. I just don't think Atlanta's a hockey town.
I don't think they would, Red Dog. I just don't. I mean,
aren't they talking about putting them in Marietta too?
No, Alpharetta.
Alpharetta. The other Etta.
And I worked in pro hockey in Atlanta. I don't see it.
What if they came back as the Atlanta Knights?
I don't think that would happen.
I don't either.
The Flames did okay attendance-wise. They left because the owners went bankrupt and no one would buy them locally. The Thrashers were a mess. It never really did well. They never played well, which didn't help.
They only made the playoffs like twice.
And then Danny Heatley killed a guy, and I don't think that helped. But
and then asked for a trade.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wasn't Kozlov there for a second?
That's you would know better than I. They had bad teams.
And they had the other Russian that went to the Devils and got paid all that money. Can't think of his name. He was good. Hossa was there too.
Okay, but if the owners were you really, I mean, it is a sport completely dependent on gate.
Yeah, it's the biggest gate-driven league.
You think they can put 20,000 in or 18,000 in a night for hockey? And I don't see it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Thanks so much for listening. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. Probably a good idea to give them a call because you know that we're starting to talk about those things out in the water again. It's that time of year. Probably need to get your roof checked to make sure you're, ready to go. And I wouldn't mind having a roofer that knows that I'm their customer this time of year. God forbid something happens. 1-888-9-PELICAN, 1-866-9-PELICAN. Can't screw up their number. That would really F up the whole idea of the live read. 1-866-9-PELICAN. Give them a call today. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you. On the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Oh, I can't even read these. I think it's going to be funny, and it's a Niners-Patriots Super Bowl, and they just keep going, and I'm like, I'm just going to stop. Insert your own joke here. All right, we are 15 days away from the start of the National Football League season. We have been doing our countdown every day, giving you the best 15s. And I'll leave the college football one for just a moment to let it percolate around my Georgia Bulldog son's ears so he knows at some point, again, I'm going to say the two magic words, Tim Tebow. Let's start in the NBA, where there is a really good group of 15s. There is. Tommy Heinsohn from the Celtics from days gone by, Earl Monroe from days gone by, Vince Carter and Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo wore it in Denver. But obviously, Nikola Jokic is the best 15. He's going to go down as I don't know if he's top 10, if he's top 15, because I still think there are a handful. I think he's at best going to be the fifth best center, and that's not a knock. I mean, when I'm talking about Wilt and Shaq and Kareem and Hakeem Olajuwon, I mean, I think he's going to better than Patrick Ewing. I mean, this is rarefied air, Hall of Famer, all of those things. So that's the best 15 there. Baseball, I've got a bunch. Sandy Alomar, Carlos Beltran, Davey Lopes from back in the day. My favorite 15, Thurman Munson, the late, great Thurman Munson, catcher for the Yankees. Loved him. There was a restaurant that my family used to go to. He was from Canton, Ohio. And we would go to Lucia's. It was an Italian steakhouse. They had these great peppers they served with the steak. And it was his hangout. And they had pictures of Munson all over after he had passed. It was where he would come when he would come home. And he died near there at the airport flying a small plane. George Foster, the great Cincinnati Red. Darryl Porter, I threw on the list just because I had a lot of his baseball cards. Brandon Inge, I threw on the list because he's one of Jake and I's favorite Tigers who ruined his career by trying to hit too many home runs in the home run derby and was never the same player again. And Dustin Pedroia. I mean,
two of my favorite infielders of all time.
And I think I said Davey Lopes with the Dodgers. So pretty good list of baseball players. Hockey, there's nothing. I went up and down this list, and I came up with Ryan Getzlaf and Danny Heatley. And
that's it.
But in football, for our old producer, John Cassio, I could not do this segment without saying Jeff Hostetler, one of his favorite New York Giants. Jack Kemp wore it back in the day. Michael Crabtree wore it. Bart Starr, right up there. I mean, obviously, Hall of Famer in an elite wing of the Hall of Fame, but he's no Patrick Mahomes. So if we were to rank 15s all time, and I know I don't do this because we don't really put their college number in it, I think, man, this is so, if you look at their relevance on their sport, I think Mahomes has to be one. I think
hard to argue.
I think Tebow has to be two. I do. I would put Tebow ahead of Jokic. And Jokic is a Hall of Famer. He's incredible. The triple doubles, all the things he does. But Tim Tebow is synonymous with college football. You cannot tell the story of collegiate athletics without Timothy Tebow.
As much as it bothers me, you're correct. You know my disdain for Tim Tebow and everything about the late 2000s Florida teams, but outside of Manziel, is there another transcendent player like Tebow?
This century?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Maybe Vince?
Yeah, Vince Young, you're probably right. I mean, because Leinart was just a great college quarterback. I mean, but there's a million that are just like him, if you know what I mean. So that is that I had to do that. Our Auburn fan says Cam. You know what?
You're not wrong.
For Cam, for 1 year, we've never seen anything like that. We really have not. And as we've told the story on the air many times, that was a team full of seniors. Nobody was drafted. None of those guys played in the league. And he put them on his back and said, come on, boys. Come on. Let me take you to the promised land. So, yeah, I mean, I've got no problem saying Cam. I've no problem saying Cam. And obviously, Tim, as a pro, he had his one moment in one game, but he was a great collegiate quarterback. I'll never forget going into his senior year, Urban brought in a new OC or a new passing game coordinator or whatever it was. And I remember arguing with David on the air. David's like, he owes it to Tim. He's got to teach him how to be because David never thought he was an NFL quarterback. I never thought he was an NFL quarterback, but David was working in both leagues. So, I'm going to trust him. I don't know if he had started with Troy yet, but he knew he's seeing SEC quarterbacks every week. He knows the difference between a Saturday guy and a Sunday guy. And he was like, he's got to bring it. I think the guy from Michigan came. And he's like, he's got to teach him to play under center. He's got to get him to, Urban owes it to him. And I'm like, he doesn't owe him anything. And he ain't going to do it. And we would argue about it. And in theory, David's right. This is before NIL. I mean, think about the money Tim Tebow would have gotten paid in NIL. Or Cam, for that matter. I mean, Cam got what did they say? I think it was less than $200,000. I know, but it was less than $200,000. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. He made that 20-fold for that university.
Oh, yeah.
So I just remember arguing. I'm like, they just don't do it. And I got a couple Broncos fans saying I miss Brandon Marshall. Yes, I did. You're right. That is a great Bronco player. Should have been on the list. Don't know why I didn't write him down. I looked at it, and
I
I
had it written down and forgot about it.
so I apologize. But having a little fun to do this. I'm really doing this more to be rotten to my kid because the Gator fan out there loves this, and they love hearing about the good old days. And, well, my son's a longtime Georgia fan, and he was a very impressionable young boy when Tim Tebow was just beating his team senseless. And it still bothers him to this day. And Georgia's on top right now. This is what college football does. This is why college football is great. And despite NIL, despite the portal, despite what Daquan White, they're coming back to play at LSU after playing at Ole Miss for 2 years and Virginia Tech for the 2 years before that. Once Saturdays come, we still get excited. And as much as the offseason sometimes bothers us, and I think that's a fair way to put it, I don't think anybody, and Jake, you don't even really like the NIL, not the NIL, but you don't like the portal, right? I mean,
no, I'm not a big portal fan. Yeah. I still think they should have to sit out a year, but.
So I know that we all have our problems with Saturday, and they're all legitimate beefs. I'm not going to argue with anyone. I do think the players should get paid. I thought that long before they were ever getting paid. We said it on this show when it was very unpopular. And I'm talking damn near 20 years ago we were saying it. But I don't like the portal either. I thought the Wild Wild West would get reined in. Will this SCORE Act do it? I don't know. But all I know is that come Saturday, when TCU and North Carolina are playing, and NC State and Virginia are playing, and you're watching USC Goat Rodeo, somebody going, hey, they might be good this year. College football's back, and we'll all watch.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You hear me?
I hear you just fine. Couple of Dogs fans coming in here to stick up for you.
Yeah, I saw someone, a Florida fan, say they still hate Herschel Walker.
Is that a Super Joe? I wanted to ask you that. Are you a Florida fan, or do you hate Herschel for another reason? Because I would think if you're a Florida fan, you would hate who's the receiver that had the catch, Lindsey Scott, more than you'd hate Herschel. But that's just me. Or was that Buck Bellew that threw the pass, Jake?
Yep, Buck Bellew to Lindsey Scott.
There you go.
Run, Lindsey, run.
Oh, I'm going to text you later. You have to do one thing today.
Okay.
And you have to do it today. You have to buy a birthday card. You need to send it to Nancy.
Okay.
You know how far that will go in life.
Yeah.
Do you have your playoff teams? Is that what you want here?
It was non-preseason top 25s. That
okay, there we go. All right.
Messed up poll question: Deshaun Watson, better person or quarterback?
Oh God. If you subscribe, it goes away, Red Dog. And if you have Amazon Prime, the subscription is free, sir. Think you have to renew it every month, Red Dog? I'm not sure how that works. Mine renews every month, or at least so I believe. Whoops. I don't know what you did there.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Greenville Internet. You have your stat memorized, or do I got to look it up?
What? 6 teams, 4 and 24 and 2 and 25. Only thing I don't have is I had all their odds written down.
If you give me the teams, I'll give you the odds for the playoff.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've only got Power 4 teams on this, unfortunately. I'll look up the other one.
That's fine. I kind of remember what Boise State and the American Conference teams.
All right.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks for joining us this morning. Pat Kirwan. In a little more than 20 minutes time, an hour from now, we'll check in with Bud Elliott for the first time this year, part of the Great Cover 3 podcast, and Vinny Cerrato to join us at the top of the 9 o'clock hour to talk the Ravens. But talking a little more college football with Jake Miller, my co-pilot for the first 2 hours every Tuesday. And you dug up some information over the course of the last few days when it comes to college football. So share with the listeners your discovery.
In the history of the 12-team playoff, we've had 6 teams start outside, or 12 teams.
In the history?
The 2 years. Okay. In the 2 years of the 12-team playoff, we've had 6 teams start outside the preseason AP top 25 and make the college football playoff. Now, we know a few of those are non-power 4 teams.
Right. So, you had 3 of those, right? Because you had one in year 1, and then you had both James Madison and Tulane last year.
Yes. So, and then you had Indiana was one, drawing a blank, but either way, there's going to be some teams outside of the top 25 that are going to sneak their way in here. We know one's going to be a group of 5 team more than likely, but who are those teams in these major conferences that can do it? I've been beating the drum for Virginia for the last month.
So I'm trying to look. Last year we had James Madison that obviously wasn't ranked. We had Tulane that wasn't ranked in the top 25. I'm trying, by looking at the teams, because obviously they're all ranked at the end. I don't know where Ole Miss started. I don't know where Texas Tech started.
Yeah. I know Indiana and SMU in the first year of the 12 team. I'm just drawing a blank right now. Yeah, either way.
That's fine. I'm just I'm trying to see what we had last year. And okay, so who do you have then this year as teams outside the top 25 that you think have legitimate shots to be playoff teams? And I'm guessing some of them are group of 6 teams.
Yes. I mean, I think it's either Boise State or a team from the American. It's pretty tight in the American. It could be Navy. It could be UTSA. I think those are the 2 favorites. I don't think you can discount Tulane, even with a new coach. And ECU and Army are nipping on all their heels.
By the way, I do not see the ability to bet this in the state of Florida, so you might have to use a guy or an outside source, because it is not on the Hard Rock app. You are not allowed, at least unless I'm doing something wrong, I can only do Power 4 teams to the playoff. They do not have any group of 6 teams on there. But according to what I looked up, there is a huge variance between the different betting sites you can use outside the state. For instance, is what I'm seeing, BetMGM, which I don't know anybody that even uses it, is plus 450. FanDuel's plus 1,400. I don't know what DraftKings is on that.
Yeah.
As far as the American and those teams, that is that obviously is a conference that there are, you mentioned, I think UTSA is the favorite. Navy's thought pretty highly of. After that, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. I think there's 3 or 4 teams that could all fight for that conference, and including the school I went to. So it's going to be interesting. That's why I think Boise State's the leader of the group of 5. But then, between the Big 12 and the ACC, can one of them get a second team?
Yeah, Boise, I've got and found Boise's at plus 50. I did a little more work, and then I'm actually able to, use an app. That APP store is working out well for me. UTSA is plus 1,000, so you're getting 10-1 odds on them. Navy, you're getting 9-1 odds. Navy actually is the favorite in the American, according to the bettors, even though UTSA, by most accounts, is the team to beat. Now, do you see anybody else not in the top 20? I will say this. Who do you see that's not in the top 10 preseason? Because, if you look last year, both Miami and Indiana were not in the top 10. Or the one was in the top 10. They were like 10 and 20. So it's one thing to say outside the top 25. And last year, that was just the 2 group of 6 teams in Tulane and James Madison. But if you look at the AP top 25, LSU, like Texas Tech is 12. I think they make it, Jake. I don't know about you. I don't care who, and you were talking earlier before the show. It looks like they're going to hit, we mentioned it yesterday on the show, that Castellanos there, the kid that was at BC and Florida State, he may be at Texas Tech this year, right?
Yes, that is the rumor going around.
And I don't know if that's better than what they have. Like Bama's 13. USC and Michigan, 15-16. Penn State's 18. I think they have a legitimate shot at going 10-2.
I do as well.
I don't know if that gets them in, but boy, oh boy, if 10-2 Penn State doesn't get in, that would be something if you go back to the college football playoff history when they won the Big Ten and got passed over by Ohio State when it was a 14 playoff. If they're 10-2 and miss out, they'll freak out in Happy Valley. And I don't mean the way that fraternity freaks out.
Oh, how funny it would be to fire Franklin and go 10-2 the next year and make the playoffs.
So, I mean, I think, you don't like Tennessee this year. So, but I mean, we had 5 teams last year in the top 10 that didn't make it. Yes or no, in or out of the playoffs? Ohio State.
In.
Oregon.
In.
Georgia.
In.
Notre Dame.
Might win the title.
Texas.
In.
Indiana.
Gonna say in for right now.
Miami.
In.
A&M.
Don't think so.
Ole Miss.
In for right now.
Oklahoma.
Also in for right now. Tough schedule.
You have 9 teams. So, I mean, think about that. That means that in Big 12 champ, that's 10.
Yep.
Group of 5, or group of 6, that's 11. That leaves only 1 team in your world that's outside the top 10 that gets in, that doesn't get in because of an automatic qualifier.
Yeah. I mean, those 2 in the top 10, I think that are the biggest outliers are A&M and Ole Miss. They're the 2 I have the least amount of faith in. I trust Cignetti, but things about Indiana worry me, but I think he'll be fine. So,
and I think at 10-2 that they're in, and I think they play an awful schedule, but they're the defending national champions. So if Indiana puts a 10-2 up on the board and they lose to, I don't know, I mean, they only have, the only game that they technically could be an underdog in is home against Ohio State. They're at Michigan, they're at Washington, and they host USC, both teams coming off of a bye. But if they end up putting a 10-2 on the board, even with North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky as their non-conference schedule, does 10-2 Indiana get the benefit of the doubt? I think they will, Jake.
I think they will. I mean, how do you leave out the defending national champion, say, with 2 losses? I don't know how you hold them out. And if that happens, I think they're going to have the benefit of not playing in Indianapolis. So that might be the better situation for them.
So that is fascinating because they don't play a tough schedule. And boy, oh boy, if there's a bunch of 9-3 SEC teams, will they ever be breathing fire about their inclusion before the Indiana Hoosiers? But, Indiana's like that 10-2, and they lose to Ohio State and whatever other team, or Penn State's 10-2, where they don't play Ohio State, they don't play Oregon, they don't play Indiana. They play Michigan, USC, and at Washington,
I think they're at Washington, yeah.
I mean, I think Indiana's 10-2 would get in first because the Ohio State loss will be better. But A&M, I don't want to say they got in completely because of the schedule last year, but the schedule had a lot to do with A&M doing what they did a year ago. Penn State and Indiana have those type of schedules this year. They do.
I think it's a big thing in college going forward is catching these schedules on the right year.
USC, which a lot of people are high on, they play Oregon at home. They play Ohio State at home. They go to Penn State. They go to Indiana. As far as, they go to Wisconsin. Now, I don't think Wisconsin's going to be good, but I think they're a bowl team. And I think going to Wisconsin in late October for USC is not easy. And they play UCLA at the end. It's a road game for them. And UCLA, I don't know about you, Jake, but there are a lot of people that are pretty high on UCLA exceeding expectations. I don't think anybody thinks they're a 9-win team, but they could string 8 perhaps.
Yeah, and I think they might upset some teams. I think Nico's still a good quarterback. I agree. They're going to be better than I think the common population would think they will be.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they're going to be a bowl team. I do think it would help if they are, because that's that middle part of the Big Ten that's got to improve. I mean, the SEC middle is very strong. Will they beat themselves up to be 9-3? But, UCLA plays at Oregon, at Michigan. Other than that, they get a lot of teams at home. So UCLA, sneaky for like an 8-win team this year. I do think that that's possible. The bad teams in the Big Ten have to go out and play them. There are no guarantees going out west and playing UCLA as a W. So that's just to kind of look at what Jake said. We've had 6 teams that weren't ranked. Now, 3 of them have been group of 6 teams. I get it. Indiana's another, and I don't remember the first 2 from 2 years ago. Last year, it was both group of 5 teams. But we also had a bunch of teams that weren't in the top 10. Jake predicting early on that I'll let you come back. If you come back next week, I will let you rescind from the 9 of the 10 top 10 teams you have going to the playoffs. I think there's a homework assignment in front of you for next week.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way there's going to be 9 in the top 10 that make it. It's just, I don't know who they are yet.
It's hard to look at it and throw teams out. Do you trust Underwood in Michigan? Do you trust Lincoln Riley in USC? I mean, we're having to put trust in guys that haven't won games in big situations. We're going to have to look at, Lane's not in the top 20, in the top 10. So LSU would be one of those teams. I think Alabama, and, Matt Moscone took me to task. He's an LSU guy, but he covers the league really well. He thinks they're 8-4. I think that they have the ability to be a 10-2 team and make the playoffs. So it's that middle part of the SEC. Do they beat themselves up, or does Alabama, does Tennessee, does Florida, does someone rise up and figure out a way to get 10? I do think that's Florida's ceiling, by the way. I think everything has to go perfectly for the Gators to get to 10. I think 8-4 is a lot more realistic.
Yeah, I agree, but there's enough talent on that roster, and if they catch it right, 10 is very much a ceiling for Florida.
And players will have to exceed expectations, particularly on the offensive line.
Yes.
Because they're not there yet and they don't have depth. But that just means you've got to have one of those years where the injuries don't occur and you can get through that. But we'll see. We'll see, because, like Kentucky, who are they going to beat this year? They're going to beat somebody.
Yeah.
They still might go 4-8, 5-7, but and the same thing with South Carolina, like Kentucky, Missouri, who we never really ever talk about. Jake, they've put together a decent program.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drink's a good coach. I just don't see it from them. I think they're another team that's had the benefit of having easier schedules the last 2 seasons, but who's saying they can't upset somebody?
Well, you worry about Mateer too. I know you picked Oklahoma, but Mateer's a guy that you don't like him as a thrower of the football.
Yeah. When you have Brooks on Thursday, he'll be able to describe it better than I can, but he has some technique that worries me.
And Oklahoma, Michigan, week 2, going to determine a lot of what the Sooners' fate is, because I think it's going to be difficult to lose that game and get to 10. And if you're 9-3 and lost to Michigan, does the Big Ten get the benefit of the doubt? Like, I think Texas and Ohio State are both safe with the loss. I don't know if the loser of Oklahoma, Michigan has that same luxury when we get to the playoff time. But that's down the road. Jake, I will let you get to work. Thank you for sitting in with me this morning. I love doing this. I love that you're preparing well for it. Next week, we will get your playoff teams on the record. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right, go talk to those farmers and make some money, eh?
Will do. Thanks for having me.
That's my son, Jake Miller. He helps out Tuesday morning for a couple of hours, getting me through the day. Pat Kirwan, getting you through the day next to talk the NFL. We will talk about those fifth-year college players, because I'm curious of Pat's thoughts of what NFL GMs think about a guy that goes back to college instead of trying to make an NFL club. Pat Kirwan Coming up next, Bud Elliott, also in the 8 o'clock hour, and we'll talk Ravens with Vinny Cerrato at 9. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks so much for listening.
We started our show 18 years ago and have been fired 3 times, but Miller and Moulton have never lived on the edge like we are now. We have our best morning ratings ever, are steadily adding affiliates, yet we only have a few sponsors. And if that doesn't change, we can't continue. But if you want to advertise on Miller and Moulton, reach out to one of us directly by texting sponsor to 21,000 or contact Mark on X at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton. You can save Miller and Moulton and make your business some serious money by texting 21,000
Buying
now.
or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh, well, we're almost here in your world. We're here on Saturdays. We're almost here in your world.
How you doing?
I'm good. Tuesdays are fun. I bring my son in. He does the first 2 hours with me. Now that seasons start, your 2 segments, I got a good college guy after that. So Tuesdays are set.
What's the hardest day?
Right now it's been all right. It's just Trent's been a lot better the last week. I will say that has helped.
Good. And how many days a week do you have him?
He's 4.
Oh, good.
He's 4. Next month he'll be 3 because I'm trying out somebody else 1 day a week to see what I'm going to do permanently going down the road.
Yeah. Keep shuffling the deck till you get the hand you want.
That's exactly right. I mean, Pat, there just are a lot of factors into this. It's more than you the smartest guy is. It's, there's other things that are involved. So trying to figure it all out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you should call Jim Miller.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. What's he doing? Is he doing the pre? Is he still doing Bears pre?
Pre and post game, yeah. And He is the in-season post game show. And I don't think he's doing much else. He's just trying to get his life in order.
Yeah, well.
I said, don't do anything to get the divorce settled.
And that's not done yet?
No, 2.5 years.
Good gracious. Yeah, I got an old friend that's going, he texts me and he goes, it's finally going to be done September. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, you're still married? Jesus.
Yeah.
End this. Be done. Can't move on until you get that paper signed. You really can't.
Nope. Now, you'll laugh at this. Yesterday, I got an email from Jim's wife.
All right. No, hang on, because this thing's recorded. So no, I don't know. Too many ears can hear commercial stuff. Nope. I'm gonna cut you off. The way this is logged up, people can get at stuff, and I'm not going to put you in a spot like that, Pat.
All right.
But I do want to start with this 5th year stuff with you.
Great.
Because I just I want this from an NFL perspective. You've been a GM, you've run a team. I just am curious what these GMs are going to think of these guys that are, no, cut me so I can go back to college.
Well, we'll talk about it. It's interesting. There's a lot of blame to go around.
Yeah, well, and then I laughed. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. The SEC came out with their statement and basically just kicked the can. We don't like this at all, but we're not going to do anything about it.
Because they can't. And they better not try to say they're stopping something. The courts have already said they're free to go.
See, I know they'd get sued and lose. I just don't. I would love to see a conference step up and have a sack and just say, "Here's how it is. These are our rules."
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks so much for joining us. You know we are close to the football season when I say on Tuesdays and Fridays we are joined by Pat Kirwan. Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS Sports, the NFL Today Show, and Pat's appearances twice a week now through football season are brought to you by Pinchers with locations from Tampa to Key West. Pinchers, where you cannot fake fresh. Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Good to hear your voice. And football is very close now, and we have to get through this final preseason game. It's really incredible. No one should play any starters, and you shouldn't be playing anybody you know you're cutting. So who plays then, Pat? You don't want to play guys that are going to get cut because you don't want to have to pay them. So are you playing second and 2 and 3 deeps? I mean, because this isn't college. You don't have 3 and 4 deeps. No.
So what do you do here?
You're going to play the guys that are going to make the team that need to get better, and you might have a couple tiebreakers that you have to bust up. And they might think, okay, let's see, Pat and Mark, we're going to keep one of those linebackers. Let's put them both on the field together. And let's pick one. So you're going to get a couple of battles. And I get asked all the time, well, how many spots are still available? I said, probably 5, not much more than that. We knew, but you only get to look at the salary cap and know who the starters are. But about 5. And
okay.
They're going to try to figure it out in a preseason game. But to me, you better play the guys that are in the battle at the same time. Otherwise, one guy's playing against the seconds and the other guy's playing against the thirds, and that's not being objective.
Well, Pat, I pay attention to the things you say, and you talked a lot about the number of tight ends that were in training camps. And I've been doing a team a day. We've been trying to do previews of a team a day now for the past few weeks. And when I do that, I always pull up that team's depth chart. And then I look and I'm like, I'll be damned. Boy, Cleveland's got 6 tight ends in camp. Cincinnati's got 6 tight ends in camp. So I say that because, Pat, is this the tight end week of of preseason. I mean, is this the game we should be watching when the 13 personnel's in, and who's doing the better job of blocking? Are those kind of the jobs that are on the line this week?
Yeah, well, there's going to be certainly a growth of the 13 personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends. People are trying to figure out, do they have all the different kind of tight ends they need? One that looks like a tackle, that's a blocker, it can block down on a 5 technique. Then you need one that can move in motion and create a wing set and do some blocking on safeties and outside backers. You need a third guy that can line up in the slot or outside. And you probably, in a lot of teams now, are going to need a 4th guy that can also line up at fullback. So you got all kinds of things you need to get done to have this work. And they're all over the place. If you go look at the draft, there were a lot of tight ends drafted. There were even more signed as college free agents. And heck, I think 1 or 2 of them are going back to college, Mark.
Well, speaking of which, tight end Daquan Wright got signed by the Eagles, waived, got picked up by the Browns, and then, did Lane call? Now he says he didn't, and I don't even care about all that. He's going back to college. He's been cleared to do that. Talk to me from the front office side, Pat. If you're a GM, director of player personnel, and a kid wants to go back to college because he can play more, make more money, whatever the reason may be, is that guy then off your list the next year? Is that a guy that you don't want on your NFL team because, well, he doesn't want to try to make it at the highest level? Or do you look at it that he can go get better?
I look at it as he goes and gets better. My job is to put the best team on the field. And if he happens to be the best of the available ones, then we're going to sign him. I'm not taking this personally. You remember, and I remember having this conversation with you years ago when guys stopped playing in bowl games. They didn't want to get hurt in a bowl game. And the conversation was, well, how will GMs look at the guy who decides not to play in a college bowl game, especially a meaningless bowl game? It didn't stop anyone from drafting the best players. And if Wright goes back and becomes a better player than the guy they were going to cut and did cut, then he'll be draftable. And so I think when you say to a guy, we're going to let you go, basically it's because we don't think you're good enough, he has no choice. How is he ever going to get better unless he goes back and plays? And as long as it's legal to do, they're going to do it. And I think we'll all get over the huff and the puff about it. And if the guys get better, they'll be drafted. And so what do you say to your son if he's getting cut? There is no place to go except the spring league, which has not proven that it's a ground for development for NFL players. But college sure is.
Right. So, and Daquan Wright versus playing at LSU or the, San Antonio, whatever they are, he's going to make, there's another digit on the salary in college. I mean, he's making what, 100,000 maybe in the UFL, and he'll make 400,000 at tight end at LSU. It's an easy monetary decision as well, Pat.
Yeah. Now, Jake Hester, and he's a purist, and I agree with him that he doesn't like it, but he understands that it's now legal, and they're going to do it, and the college is going to get a better player. It's going to affect guys that are on the roster. Here's who I feel the worst for. I feel bad for the guy who's going into his senior year of college. He's finally going to be a starter, and now he just got bumped by a guy coming back. But that's the nature of the beast. That's how this works. Unfortunately, the date makes it tough for the guy who's now getting bumped off the field to transfer. It's a little too late for that. But I blame the NCAA for most of this. Why didn't they just grandfather in everybody? This guy like Wright claims, rightfully so, that he entered the NFL draft process because he thought he was done. Then all of a sudden they allowed the 5th years automatic. So the NCAA has some blame here.
Oh, it
is.
Pat, they've had it for years and a lot. I mean, they could have done this. So we wouldn't be in this mess if they would have just said, we can pay the players 10 years ago. I mean, this was
right.
They kept thinking they were going to win, and they just kept losing all the time and said, well, that's all right. We lost in this court. We'll win in the next one. And if it gets to the Supreme Court, my goodness, we'll win. And it was a 9. Obviously, yesterday, I think the big news was Deshaun Watson getting the starting job in Cleveland and then apologizing for everything he said on Saturday after he was told to do so by Browns management. That's my own That's my own add-on, but I think we all know that was true, Pat. Look, I heard you say it. We said it earlier. The Browns didn't really have a choice here, did they? I know everybody wants to see Shedeur start, and the fans like him, and the media likes him, and nobody likes Deshaun, and I get why. But you can't go from Shedeur to Deshaun. You've got to go from Deshaun to Shedeur if that indeed happens, right?
Yeah, and I was at camp. Deshaun's a better player than Shedeur. And he's more NFL ready, obviously. He at one time was an elite player. That's how he landed up with that contract. He was unavailable for off-the-field issues. He was never unavailable for his football. The problem he faced is he sat home for that year. I thought deteriorating skills. When I saw him the first year in Cleveland, I was shocked he just didn't have any twitch. His quickness wasn't there. Then he got injured and got injured again. And people are booing him. They should be booing the people who gave him the contract. That's what they're mad at, that you're tied up $250 million. He didn't do that. The club offered it to him, and he took it. Look, he turned Cleveland down, and then Cleveland came back with the fully guaranteed deal. Otherwise, they were going to lose him to New Orleans or Atlanta. So he's just a better player. He's way more ready for situational play. He can go hurry up, no huddle. He can do all the things. He knows the game. So the question from you to me or me to you, either way, is how long's the leash? How long is he? Now, if they lose 4 games, but he plays pretty good in the 4 games, the head coach is going to know, you know what? He's still better than Shedeur. And so we got to measure these losses not by the score, but by the production of the quarterback. And when it comes to keeping him on the field, look, he had a terrible blow. Look, everything affects everybody. So Alex Wright goes to IR. He was their best pass rusher. So you just add that to the equation. They don't have a pass rush like they did, obviously, last year. They lost the big guy.
5 new linemen, 2 rookie receivers. I don't think you can put Shedeur behind that. Even if you think he can play, I think that sets him up for failure, Pat.
Right. Here's what I'll be doing, though, if I'm them. Once they're mathematically eliminated from the postseason, let's call it Thanksgiving, I'm going to play Shedeur, and I'm going to tell him, Shedeur, we're going to measure what you do, and that'll tell us what to do in the draft.
All right.
He's going to get that.
All right. Trade yesterday. Houston gets a receiver from New England. I know a lot of Patriot fans that didn't want to get rid of Boutte. Now he's with Houston because they lost their guy. This seems like a pretty smart pickup for the Texans.
Brilliant. I was there as well. I was in New England. Shoot the boot, as I like to call him. He had a great camp. He was the 4th receiver with all the additions they had. He was handling it professionally. He wasn't screaming and yelling. I think he made it privately clear to them he'd like to be traded. He goes from the 4th in New England to the 2nd in Houston. And he takes over for Higgins, who's done for the year. And they're still waiting to see if Tank Dell can get to the healthiest he can be. And the answer I got, is he going to be ready in regards to Tank? The answer I got was, well, we'll see. So they know that they had to do something, and it was good. And I don't think they gave that much away. Honestly, they gave away a 6th-round pick from 2025 and a 7th.
Right. The price was not high, and their receiving room got better. And we all know the pressure on C.J. Stroud. So from all fronts from Houston to get another quality receiver in, that doesn't put the pressure on Dell. Look, I like where the Texans are. It's all on the quarterback, Pat. But to me, their ceiling's as high as anybody in the AFCs.
It is. Now, we'll see how the quarterback does. He had a little bit of a rough year. It didn't look great when I was there. It wasn't on him. It was on the protection. Unfortunately, they have to block their front every day, and that's really hard. So it's been tough on the offense, but it's going to make them tougher dealing with all this stuff. I do like the team quite a bit. I think that they're going to be ready for something really good, and you got to think about Jacksonville and where are they? I saw Jacksonville this summer. They had a hard time blocking the Saints. So it'll be an interesting battle to see where everything goes. I was doing a little bit of we've been saying this a lot. Well, they have a first place schedule now. You and I've said that. A lot of people say it. And a lot of teams that didn't have first place schedules got one. And you know what? I did it over the last 3 years. If you got a first place schedule because you did well enough, You basically did not return to the division title 12 of the 24 times. You're 50-50 to win the division if you get a bump to a first place schedule.
New England, Jacksonville, we're talking to you. Chicago, you might want to pay attention as well. He's Pat Kirwan, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yep.
I can tell my accountant did her work yesterday because I had to, form the new thing and all this stuff. And when the random spam texts about my LLC and this corp and that corp start, I'm like, okay, something got filed yesterday.
Yeah.
Something happened with a new phone number because my phone's blown up with a bunch of crap of people trying to rob me.
Yeah. They call it help.
Exactly. I'm like, and I get why people, it doesn't even matter the age, get suckered into this stuff because it looks real.
Yep. That's the way that is. I talked to David for almost an hour the other night.
Good. I text with him pretty much every day. Some days he doesn't respond much. Other days he's a little more talkative. Yesterday he was a little more talkative. He was feeling better.
Yeah, he sounded like he was going to get out today or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. That's what he indicated to me too.
Yep.
Which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
It's funny because his wife will text me updates and I don't know which one's more realistic, his or hers, because they're always a touch different.
Yep.
But
yeah. What they're battling through it.
Yep, that's it. And then obviously, I know their daughter I know very well. I don't even this is so when David and I were doing different shows, Pat. I'm doing mornings, David's doing afternoons. We're going to go to a Blades game. And we're going to bring our kids. And so his daughter's sitting in the studio with him in the afternoon while he's doing the show. And I'm like, you want me to just bring her to my house? I'll make dinner. Because she's 2 years older than my son. I think they were 10 and 8 at the time. And I'm like, do you want me to just bring her over to our house? They can hang out and I'll make days. He's like, really? Do you mind? I'm like, no. His wife, because she doesn't know me hardly at all. She just knows me talking about partying on the air and da. So I bring him home. I make them both dinner. I go back to the station. We grab David. The four of us go to the game. David's wife was ready to kill him because you let him take our daughter. He's like, what is he going to do? And then, of course, she gets back and she goes, oh, my God, he made chicken and pasta and it was wonderful and everything and all this stuff. And so she kind of had a little egg on her face. But I always think about that because when I see David's daughter, she still remembers that. She goes, I remember coming over for dinner and my mom losing her mind.
Yes. Well, it can happen.
By the way, it's the only sport I can get my daughter to go to. No interest in football. She even has one of her friends at school because, now the Catholic school, the girl that carpools with, her sister's a cheerleader. And I love going to the games. And I still can't. I'm like, Maddie, you need to go to the football games. But you ask her to go to a Blades game, I'm in. Let's go. When we leaving?
I love that.
She loves those games. Any hockey. And it's partially the fights and the violence, but she loves going to the hockey games.
Yeah, I can see it. A couple ladies sit next to me, and they are passionate, to say the least, about hockey. And they do like the physical engagements.
Yep, they do. They do.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know what I want to pull up for you. I'm going to have a little fun here, Pat.
Great. How about Jed York? What are we doing here?
I only did a little bit on it because I won't do it with you because I know you don't get. But it's like, you're a billionaire. You can't do better than the trailer park in Youngstown. I know that's where you're from, but you can't fly someone in from Cleveland, New York. I mean, come on. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I won't even get into the moral part of it because it's not my job to be the moral police. But are you that dumb?
Yeah, I always ask myself, is it the first time?
No. Well, the thing that I wondered too, is this just going to get a little piece of tail, or was he going to get a piece of tail and some things that you can't do legally in this country or any country for that matter? You're hanging out in trailer parks with hookers. There's other things there.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Pat Kirwan with us for his second segment. You know Pat, NFL Radio's moving the chain. CBS Sports, the NFL Today Show, joining us courtesy of Pinchers. All right, Pat, we know that 5 teams will not make the playoffs that were there last year. Just give me a yes or no. In the playoffs or out? Eagles.
Yes.
Bears.
Maybe.
Packers.
Maybe.
Carolina.
No.
Seattle.
Yes.
Rams.
Yes.
49ers.
Kittle's back already, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Chargers.
Maybe.
Broncos.
Yes.
Texans.
Maybe.
Really? Jags.
Maybe. That's the maybe there.
Steelers.
Maybe.
Bills.
Yes.
Patriots.
Maybe.
All right, so that's a lot of maybes. You've changed in a week, and I'm not surprised because you and I had this exercise last week, and it's tough to try to find the teams. But the one team you said yes on was the 49ers. They've gotten a year older. Their offensive line is their receivers. There's still this McCaffrey guy there, but Brock Purdy. You know, when I was trying to do underrated and overrated quarterbacks and people started asking about Purdy, I don't know how you can. I think he gets that Mr. Irrelevant. He gets the pass of not having pressure on him. I think he gets a lot of benefits and doubts, and he deserves them. But why do you say the Niners are a playoff team right now?
Well, number of things. Number one, I thought they were very smart with McCaffrey all summer. Don't do anything with him. And hopefully that goes into the regular season and they spread the workload out so he's not blown up by Christmas. and he's actually physically well enough to go all the way through, then Kittle is going to be back now, and he's going to be back probably for the opener, which is scary. That's still enough days away that he might. So getting those two guys back, I mean, you go back and study this team when they don't have either one of them, especially Kittle, and that's when their losses show up. So having those two guys back, the head coach is back from his accident. And it's not about being as good as the Rams in Seattle. It's about being as good as the rest of the NFC second teams. So you start looking at those teams and start asking yourself, are they better than Dallas? Yeah, they're better than Dallas. Are they better than the Packers? I'll take them over the Packers. So when you start looking at those second and maybe even the third team, I think they're the best of that crowd.
By the way, Pat had a no for Carolina, a maybe for Chicago, a maybe for Jacksonville, a maybe for Pittsburgh, and a maybe for New England. I bring that up because right before the break, Pat told us that of the 24 division winners that vaulted to that, only 12 made the playoffs next year. All of those teams are division winners. When you look, and I know you were everywhere in the North but Cincinnati, and we talked to Mo Egger yesterday from Cincinnati, and, we'll see on the defense, but the offense is certainly elite, Pat, and they made some changes on defense. Is this kind of a, if not now, when year for Cincinnati, right? I mean, we keep hearing next year. Burrow even said it. I don't want to say next year again. It's kind of a put up or shut up year for the Bengals, isn't it?
Well, we created this imaginary idea that they built the defense to support the offense, but it was always with the caveat, even on this show, well, all I got to really do is get to like 20th, and that'll be good enough to get to the playoffs with that offense. Well, A, I don't believe that, and B, the quarterback's got to stay upright for 17 games. So there's too much vulnerability. I don't think the defense is that much better. And look, they even say goodbye to Hendrickson. He didn't have a great year last year, but Baltimore's damn happy to have him, and they couldn't block him at practice when I was there. So if you were really serious, you would have kept him, and you would have gotten a supplemental player for the other side, and you would have not lost one of the guys that you thought was a pretty good player. So somehow money still creeps into their decision-making, and that's why I'm having a hard time saying they're going to win the division.
Well, the team I'm having trouble with is the Los Angeles Chargers, because I'm still amazed that they won as many games as they did a year ago. They lose both tackles and are a double-digit winner. I mean, we do have to give Harbaugh a lot of credit for what he brings to the table as a coach, but here we are again this year. Season hasn't started. They've lost a center for the year.
Yep.
That's a bad, if we talk about the Lions losing their center and that makes their line a little more vulnerable, well, then we certainly have to talk about the Chargers bringing two tackles back from injury and already losing a center. I don't like their receivers. I like McConkey, but I don't think that's enough. Their running game's good. Like, when I look at this roster, I don't see a playoff team, yet they had 11 wins last year, Pat.
Well, that's Harbaugh, right? Wherever he's been.
Yep.
Think about him. San Diego University, 49ers, Stanford, you name it. Wherever he goes, he wins. Because he doesn't lose. He basically lets you lose the game. He's one of those fundamentally sound coaches. Parcells used to say it to me all the time. He goes, it's a lot easier to let the other guy lose than to try to beat him. Because there's a lot of coaches that they don't know how to win. They know how to play, but I think Harbaugh's a unique guy in that he can get a lot out of average. The receiver thing is where I want to stop and have a little bit of a conversation here. They didn't bring back Keenan Allen. Then all of a sudden they had injuries, and Keenan Allen was not available. We saw Keenan Allen go away. We saw Diggs go away. We just saw the trade for Booty. Have you heard or talked personally about Ayuk in the last 2 weeks?
No.
He's
not at all.
Floating.
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing nothing. The guy never even, all he had to do was show up, and they'd have to have released him because they couldn't afford to have him trip over the weight room or something. But he hasn't even done that. But he buried himself with his social media stuff. And think about the guys that are getting signed. And he is still available, and I don't know anybody who's talking about going after him. What has he done to himself?
He played himself out of the league. We've watched it before. I mean, not that he ended up coming back, but I remember Le'Veon Bell missing a year. Was never the same guy.
Yeah.
You mentioned Deshaun Watson, never the same guy. You can't just take a year off in this league. The league doesn't allow it, Pat.
It's amazing how subtle your skills are and how they can disappear overnight. And I give a lot of credit to the guys who can. When Phillip Rivers came back last year, we all had a great time with that and we were entertained. But if you really think about what he did at quarterback, and he did it almost immediately, it's remarkable, because most guys, we all say, I agree with you, deteriorating skills. We already said it today a few times. How did Phillip Rivers do what he did last year, Mark?
I don't know. I don't know. And I'm wondering if Matt Ryan's going to have to do it before the year's over this year. Hey, I do want to ask you about the Chargers, because, they do have Slaughter as their backup as center. I mean, this kid was good.
Yeah, I like him
pretty highly of him. I know you watched him, I think, at the Senior Bowl. But, I mean, they've got 2 new guards, and now they've got to put a rookie in at center. How vulnerable is the middle of that line with the Chargers?
Well, look how vulnerable it was last year.
Right.
The quarterback got beat up. He was kind of amazing, tough guy that he hung through all of it. But he's going to be running for his life. But that's where this coach comes in. The coach is going to skill an offense around what they can do and avoid the things that they're going to be bad at to the best of his ability. Now, you're down 10 points with 4 minutes to play. Who's kidding who? And here come the sacks and the beating, because they're going to have to chuck it all over the place.
And remember, their defensive coordinator's now the head coach in Baltimore.
Yep.
What effect will that have? He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS Sports, the NFL Today Show. He survived his training camp tour. He survived another edition of Miller and Moulton. We'll have Pat back on Friday as we start getting closer and closer to the NFL season. Pat, thanks as always. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later in the week.
Yep, look forward to Friday. Take care, Mark.
He's Pat Kirwan. We're Miller and Moulton. Bud Elliott to talk college football next.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I saw a couple of you ask, and I think you saw the answers, but obviously, for those that are asking, David was basically, he had to resign. The cancer has gotten to the point where the pain was so bad he couldn't do the show anymore. What? How are you? Can you hear me, sir? Bud, can you hear me? No, we can't. That's not good. I can hear him. Maybe I don't see earpieces in. I say it's highly unlikely, guys. Highly unlikely. Can you hear me? He's still typing something. All right, he knows he's got time.
What's going on, Mark?
How you doing? You can hear me all right, can't you? Uh-oh.
All right. Try now.
Hello.
What in the world is this?
Hello? Everything says it's working. Hang on. Let me do what? Hold on.
All right, there you go. Gotcha.
All right, I was going to make one change in my. How are you?
Doing well, man. How you been?
Good. I listened occasionally last year. Your podcast has been making my summer.
Oh, appreciate that.
I get on the treadmill. I've been trying to, do my treadmill thing every day, and it just, in fact, someone in the chat room a while back said you got to put those podcasts on 1.5 speed. That was the best piece of advice I ever had, because you can get through it obviously a lot quicker and still get the info. So I've gone through your over unders on every conference. I was doing the locks one yesterday. I've enjoyed it.
I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun, man. It really is. Well,
I think you guys all have pretty good. I mean, it seems that you all could sit at the bar and have a beer, and no one would get up and leave. Because
exactly. Yeah, like we don't get to see each other often, but like we when we do, like we genuinely enjoy hanging together.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that comes out. I think that's a good thing.
I appreciate that. I'm excited about this year too.
I am too. It's funny. We just had Pat Kirwan on, and he was a personnel guy in the NFL. And so I asked him, because I talked with a guy that I trust a little bit. He's like, if I'm an NFL GM and a guy wants to go back, I'm done with that guy. And Pat's like, I want him to go get better. I got no issue. If he's not really going to make my team, go get better. Where else can you go get better? It's not like the UFL produces players yet.
Look, completely agree. I mean, this is a limited one-time situation, and like I know we all want to communicate and whatnot, but this is not a continual thing. It's, I think, on purpose by the NCAA.
I'll let you. I heard that. I'll let you. Now, here's my question going forward, because the NBA, if you're a college basketball player, you can go you can say I'm eligible for the draft, and then find out that you're going to be a late second round pick and go, I'm going back to college because I want the guaranteed contract. Do you think they will do that or something like that with now that guys can play 5 years? You're a senior guard. Will you be able to explore your options and then come back to college?
I don't think so, because of the timing of like when the portal is.
Right.
I think this is a very limited one-time thing. Like now, I mean, ultimately, but as long as you're not even that would be before you're playing in any kind of before you're on any kind of contract. I think that the once you've signed with a team, your eligibility is done.
Right.
Will hold up.
Okay.
I think the key thing here is more like, okay, you were told that. Yeah.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. And now, for the first time in our college football season, and what's a weekly spot that you've all come to love because the information is spectacular. He is one Bud Elliott, the Cover 3 podcast. It is a must listen if you are a college football fan. You can follow him on X at Bud Elliott 3, but you really want to follow the podcast because that's where you get the majority of the info. Bud, college football season's 4 days away. We've made it.
Mark, we have. Finally, we get to get back to talking about games. Maybe. Right.
All right, maybe, because I want to get to one thing first. Obviously, this whole fifth-year thing, the SEC said, we're really mad, but we're not going to do anything about it. Just your thoughts on this. Is this a one-year thing? When we go to 5-year eligibility across the board, will this continue to be a problem, or is this something we're only worrying about really in the late summer of 2026?
So I started saying this like about a couple months ago, and people were like, yeah, you're crazy on this, but now other people might be coming around to this. I think that the NCAA intentionally delayed to try to implement this 5-for-5 rule, in order to try to ice out the class of 2022. Number one is a cost savings measure, right? Because they didn't have enough roster spots to fit all these guys in. But number two, I truly believe that they thought that the Protect College Sports Act was going to get through the Senate and was going to go face a much tougher challenge in the House, right? And that they needed something to point and yell at that was so absurd, right? That, oh my God, look at what's happening now. Look at what these rogue judges are doing to us. Congress, please save us. And this, if the thing had gotten past the Senate and was in the House and was coming up for a vote in the fall, this, Mark, would have been perfect for them to point and yell at. These rogue judges are letting NFL players come back and play in our college game. Even though, guys, it was entirely our own fault that we decided to implement the rule this way, giving ourselves a fact pattern that we knew we would get absolutely splattered in court, right? Like we set this up to lose on purpose so that we could point and yell for the bigger picture of trying to get this thing passed through Congress. Now, a little thing happened. They tried to put way too much into the bill, so it didn't even get through the Senate, right?
Right.
Just like, try to be all things to all people. And so now they kind of have egg on their face because there's nothing to vote on at this point, which, maybe it happens late in the session in the fall. But I truly think that, and I know that sounds kind of conspiratorial, and I fully understand that. But to me, that's the most logical read on the situation that I have, is looking at this and saying, what were they thinking otherwise? They knew that they were going to get crushed.
All right. Couple of general questions for you in the season, because there's some couple games worth getting to. But, Bud, it's always matter how many you win. 10 is the magic number. I looked at the schedules. I think there could be some more teams, but Texas, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Michigan, I think, have legitimate cases if the right scenario plays out that a 9-3 team gets in. Those are the 4 teams that I looked at. There might be a couple more. I think Florida might have a hell of a case at a 9-3, but with Florida State being god awful, I don't know if that will, end up hurting them in the end. But do you think a 9-3 team makes it? And how few 9-3 teams legitimately, because of schedule, have a shot at getting in?
Yeah, I think that there's a pretty good shot that a 9-3 team does make it. And I think if that happens, that's actually good for the sport, because then it is going to encourage other teams to schedule more good games, particularly good non-conference games. Those 4 teams that you mentioned, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan, they all went and played a major non-conference game in addition to a very, very tough, challenging conference schedule. So if those teams lose 3 games in the regular season, they're also going to be able to point and say, yeah, look, we also have 4 wins over playoff teams or teams that are like very much playoff contenders, had coins flipped, like heads, not tails. So I do think there's a decent chance that we get one in. I think you could have like a really interesting case. Like, is 9-3 from that group of 4 that you mentioned going to go over like 11-2 BYU, right? Or 10-3 BYU, like having lost in the Big 12 conference championship game. I think Florida could have a chance at 9-3. I think they're going to need FSU to be good. The other one I would put in that bucket, Mark, is Ole Miss, right? Like, very challenging, tough schedule. If Louisville is like a 10-win in the ACC championship game, they could be that could be enough for them.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because Louisville and Ole Miss, we just mentioned, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio State. Those are the big 2. But there are 4 early season SEC games that I think will have a big bearing on how we look at playoff teams. Those 2 games that I mentioned, Louisville and Ole Miss is another one. And what if Clemson, with all their nobodies, goes down to Baton Rouge and beats LSU? I mean, to me, the SEC's kind of got to pull a 3-1 in these 4 games to be able to still stick their chest out and say, we're the best still, right?
Right. Yeah, I think those are the four that you have to really look at. That those four, I think, could determine whether the SEC gets 3 teams in or 5 teams in. Right. Like, it's really going to kind of determine conference supremacy. I'm pretty high on LSU from a power rating standpoint. I don't think you can afford, if you're betting games, to be low on a team that spent $50 million on the roster and brought in this much talent and a system that Lane Kiffin runs that is pretty adaptable to new talent. Like, we've seen him do this with completely new rosters several times now, and they retained their stud defensive coordinator Brian Baker, so it's not like they're having a real changeover on defense. Clemson, to me, last year was the last year of them having that top 5, top 10 recruiting classes. That was the last year of it. Now you're looking at a Clemson team that's been bringing in classes in that kind of 15 to 25 range. They don't really embrace the portal. They just suspended their best defensive tackle, Vic Burley, indefinitely for disorderly conduct. So we'll see what happens there. I also think that they might like the freshman quarterback better, but are they really going to start him, as a freshman going into Death Valley, like LSU's Death Valley, not Clemson's Death Valley? That would be a little skeptical to me. But yeah, that's a big one. If LSU, if they struggle with that, then I think it's a little bit of alarm bells for me.
5 teams that were in the AP top 10 didn't make the playoff last year. We just kind of went through it earlier in the show, and I have my son do a couple hours with me, and he knows college ball, I think, better than I do. He was between 8 and 9 of those teams. When you look at the preseason top 10, what teams are you throwing out of the playoff early? A&M's the easy one for me. I don't think when you lose your whole offensive line and a couple of starters on the defensive line, I know they can pay to get new kids. I just don't know if it's going to work. They lost a top receiver. I mean, they lost talent from last year's team and had an easy schedule. So A&M's the first one I throw out. When you look at the top 10, who are you throwing out, bud?
I think A&M makes the most sense. And look, I think Mike Elko is a great coach. I'm fully on board that he's going to win a national title in College Station. The way they're recruiting right now is just absurd. They have the oil money, and they also have a really good front office at picking players. I like the money that they're spending on guys. I'm like, oh, they're buying the right guy, over and over again in recruiting. But that talent's not there yet. And Marcel Reed is not a guy. I was convicted on this last year. I was convicted on it when they were 11-0, right? And I was like, damn, maybe I'm an idiot. But I'm just watching this guy, and he's turning touchdowns into checkdowns, right? And touchdowns into first downs, and just not additive to the offense. Now you lose 4 draft picks on the offensive line. You lose Concepcion, who now that he has a pro quarterback and get him the ball, is killing it in preseason, obviously. Right. And now they have a real schedule. Last year they played, I believe, all 7 of the bottom teams in the SEC, plus Texas. So now they got a little tougher schedule. I don't think that they're going to make the playoff, but I do think long-term that program is really good. I don't trust Mateer. I think a lot of these writers get caught up in, look how good he looked at the Manning camp. And I went back and did a study on this. There's almost no examples of a guy who had an established track record of just not being great, just being okay, all of a sudden making a leap after going to the Manning camp and throwing on air and looking good. It's everybody should look good on air. You're a 23-year-old guy who's played a bunch of college football. If you don't look good on air, what are you doing here? So I'm kind of out on Mateer, but I think I'm in on the rest of that roster, so I could see them missing. Miami, I feel really good about. I think they upgraded big time with Darian Mensah. I think I feel great about Indiana. Texas, I think with the expectations and the schedule, if things don't go right there, that could potentially crumble with all those personalities. I think Georgia's too good everywhere else. I think the quarterback's fine. I don't think he's special, but the schedule also, it'd be pretty hard for them to miss, I think. So I would say right. Oklahoma and Texas A&M are the 2 for me that I'd really focus on.
Okay. And and then see, there's so many teams that I'm interested in that could come from nowhere. Penn State's got an easy schedule this year. Is the Big Ten underrated in this sense that for the big 3 we know about, but USC looks like they could be good. Michigan with competent coaching. What do we get out of Underwood? UCLA's going to beat some teams. They're not bad. From a quarterbacking standpoint, the Big Ten's pretty good, isn't it, bud?
I think the Big Ten is the best quarterback league in the country. I mean, I I was looking at Malik Washington, and like for those who don't know, that's Maryland's quarterback. 6'5", 230-pound, very mobile too. Freshman quarterback last year. Maryland had 39 drops in conference play. I mean, that's insane. And like this kid was not rattled and was really, really good. The pocket presence was unreal. I had him 4th in my Big Ten quarterback rankings, and I had an NFL scout be like, Malik Washington? I was like, oh, shoot, did I screw this up? Like, am I not reading this? I was like, what, you think he's too high? He's like, no, bro, like he might be too low on your list. Like that guy is a legitimate dude. And I was like, okay. Like now you have him, you have Sane, you have Dante. Indiana's been very happy with Hoover so far, based on the reports. Like I didn't have Rocco Becht in my top 9, like top half of the league. And I still think he's a very solid, kind of countable veteran. Minnesota's kid. Drake Lindsay is, I think, really good. Calandria is an upgrade, I think, for Nebraska. I just don't know if like USC, Michigan, Penn State have caught the top 3 this year, because I think the top 3 are really, really good. We might be sitting here at 27 saying, okay, now we have a top 6. I think for 26, it's still a pretty defined top 3.
And it'll be interesting. Can they get a 4th in the playoff? And is that at the expense of SEC 5, ACC 2, Big 12 2? Because, I have Notre Dame playing for a national title. I have no idea who I have them playing yet, Bud. But I think this roster is, with the schedule and everything else, I mean, Notre Dame, to me, should get to a championship game this year.
I think they really should as well. My only real question with them, which of those receivers really scares you if you're a playoff team? Right? Like, they have a very deep room. Do they have a dude? Like, Oregon has DeCorian and apparently back to full health and killing it, Evan Stewart. Ohio State has Jeremiah. Texas has Cam Coleman. I think most of the teams you're going to face, obviously, Miami has 2 studs.
Right.
Does Notre Dame have somebody that truly scares you on the outside, or are they just relying on NFL stud prospect quarterback who's good enough behind a really good offensive line with time to just spread the ball around and find the open man, which can work certainly. But I'd rather you have a guy that really scares me in college at receiver.
It's funny because there's some good defensive lines like Indiana's again that might be able to get after a quarterback. All right, couple of games this weekend. TCU in North Carolina. I think it's a beginning of the end for the whole Belichick thing with Lombardi getting blown out. Whatever the hell's going on with his son that we don't really know about. He settled on a quarterback. I don't know if they go to a bowl game this year, but how do they do against TCU?
Yeah, I think TCU is going to be a little bit like slower, more run game, more defense this year, interestingly, which is kind of a departure from what Sonny Dykes has typically done. But I do see them going a little more run game, a little more defense. I like TCU in that one. I like under. I think Carolina's going to play slow. I think TCU is going to play meaningfully slower this year. We might get British Open conditions over there in Ireland, which is not really conducive for scoring. So I know this has moved a little bit since it opened to the under, but I think there's still a little more room here.
And then Virginia and NC State. Virginia was everybody forgets about the Cavaliers. They were a double-digit win team last year. My son's been big on Virginia over now for a few weeks. That's like one of his best bets. If they're going to go over, they damn well better beat NC State. And NC State's got a quarterback too, bud.
Yeah, like CJ Bailey at NC State is really good. I think like NC State's probably going to have a real battle on their hands to keep him, come next offseason if he plays as well as I think, when the transfer portal opens. Not that I know he's going to transfer, but obviously like he's kind of next in line to be that, $6-7 million guy, I think,
right,
out of the ACC.
Miami, hello.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and obviously, from down there, Virginia's really veteran. Virginia's kind of as old as people thought Indiana was last year. And they have, a lot of returning talent on the offensive line. They go get Bo Perula from Missouri by way of Penn State, and he's not a great thrower, but I do think there'll be heavy QB run game. I think that could work against an NC State front that's kind of rebuilt. Veteran offensive line, run a big veteran quarterback a lot, play some defense. We'll see how the passing game is for UVA. Obviously, if NC State gets out to a big lead, I think that UVA could be game scripted out of it.
He's Bud Elliott, the Cover 3 podcast, CBS Sports. In fact, you guys are doing that. Are you doing that now on CBS Sports HQ, right?
Yeah. So, on HQ on the Paramount Plus app. We're also on CBS Sports Network, sometimes on Wednesdays, and just more big stuff to come.
Bud Elliott 3 is how you follow him on X, and you can hear him every week. This time, Tuesdays, bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Bud Elliott here on Miller and Moulton. Bud, enjoy the weekend. We've made it. Thanks so much. Always love our chats.
All right. See you, Mark.
He's Bud Elliott. We're Miller and Moulton. We will switch gears and go back to the National Football League on the other side. Vinny Cerrato, as we start and continue our breakdown of the AFC North with the Ravens. That's next, Miller and Moulton.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Wow. Two are going to match play for the championship beginning in 28. So next year the same, and then when they do their new system, it's going to be match play for the final 32 players. They'll do a World Cup style pool play, and then the final 16 will play in a 1 through 16 ranked match play format. I got to be honest, when I'm on full screen, it really scares the hell out of me. And I definitely need to shave every morning, and I didn't this morning.
Family Vineyards.
All right. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's a Twitch thing, and if you're a subscriber, you don't get them. Okay? I don't control Twitch. You can yell at me all you want. There's plenty of ways to listen to this show. If you want to listen on Twitch without being interrupted, then I would suggest subscribing. If you're an Amazon Prime customer, that's free. If not, go to YouTube. Can you hear me okay, Vinny?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Good.
Good deal. Thank you so much. We've got about 45 seconds before we go live here.
Okay, great.
About 10 minutes. So I really appreciate it. We've been kind of running through as many teams as we can, and we're on the AFC North this week, which to me is a really fascinating division.
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thank you so much for listening. The Pro Hour in Tampa and Jacksonville. Certainly appreciate it. And we're joined now by Vinny Cerrato. Joining us on Miller and Moulton. He does afternoons in Baltimore, covers the Raven. You know him as an executive in the league for many years and a proud hockey dad as well. Vinny, good morning.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you guys this morning?
We're doing very well and excited to talk a bit about the Ravens because obviously with Harbaugh there for as long as he'd been and an organization that's as well run as any in the league. Going into last year, many people thought it was the best roster in the league, and then things didn't work out the way they were expected. How is the roster this? We all know what Lamar brings to the table. New coach, some new ideas. Jesse Minter's been there before, so we know what he brings defensively. But when you look at this roster, where do you put it in the league?
I think it's pretty good, to be totally honest. I mean, when you look at offensively, you got a great quarterback, got a Hall of Fame running back, you got Zay Flowers, Pro Bowl receiver. So you're good at all levels there. The O-line's the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit with the Ravens offensively. You know, I was up at the practices last week versus the Vikings, and they kind of got eaten up a little bit. So that is a definite concern for me, the offensive line, on how they're going to be. So they still don't know who the center is going to be. Now, defensively, I think they're good. They got impact guys at every level. I think they may have the best safety group in the league. So, and then up front, you know, they got some age with Calais and, you know, Matabike and Travis Jones and Jenkins, you know, so they've got some veterans. They've got some age to them, you know, so how are they going to play? And when does Matabike come back? You know, is he going to miss a game? Is he going to miss 2 games? You know, and Teddy Buchanan, same type of thing. Is he going to miss a game, 2 games? I mean, they're both out on the practice field running around. And Matabike yesterday, first time hit the sled. So we've got 2 weeks, till opening kickoff. So we'll see. If those two come back, I think defensively they're going to be real good. I think they may be a top 5 defense. And Hendrickson will help them a lot too.
No doubt. And Vinny, I think you're right. I mean, obviously Minter's a great defensive coach. He's familiar with everything in Baltimore, but Madubuike is a big part of it. I mean, when he was gone last year, Vinny, you could run on this team. There is such a difference. And I know Campbell with a backup spot there. I mean, there's a little more depth. Isn't it stopping the run? Because last year when Madubuike was gone, they were able to run on Baltimore, and that changes who they are defensively.
I just think they're so much better coached this year defensively than they have been the last 2 years since Mike McDonald. So I think if you took the same personnel from last year, I think they would have they'd be outstanding defensively. That's how much faith I've got in Jesse Minter. So I just think they'll be able to stop the run. And last year against the pass they were 30th. They were terrible. They couldn't get pressure on the quarterback. That's why they got Hendrickson.
Right, and Hendrickson makes a big difference there. You mentioned the offensive line you're a little worried about. One of the things that I've heard in talking to a bunch of different teams and getting ready for the season is that you're hearing a lot of offensive coordinators, Vinny, that are implementing, a lot more 12 and 13 personnel. And when I look at the, 2 tight ends drafted by Baltimore, it doesn't seem they're going to be much different. When you have a great running back, a Hall of Fame-like running back in Derrick Henry, and I know Lamar's going to run some, how much do you expect to see multiple tight ends as a part of this offense?
I think we're going to see a lot of 3 wides because the rookie Jacoby Lane looks outstanding.
Okay.
He's made plays in every practice. He was good up at the Vikings practices. He's been good in the games. So I think we're going to see a lot of 3 wides. And, with Bateman's look good in practice, Zay and Jacoby and then Mark Andrews. Because at tight end, be totally honest, I mean, you kind of got like 4 role guys. There's not an elite guy. There's not like, Loveland in Chicago. I think the Loveland in Chicago would be Jacoby Lane for the Ravens.
And obviously Andrews is the guy that Lamar loves. And when you look at, I mean, we know how good he is. With the coaching change, does that change anything in your estimation with Lamar? I mean, they're going to try to do the offense a little differently. How much different will this be for Lamar, and how much will that really change the way we think of him, positively, negatively, the same when the season's over?
Well, every year with Lamar with a new coordinator has been an MVP. So I think expectations are big, and Lamar looks great. Back to Andrews. Andrews declined last year, and he's not getting younger, and he has a hard time getting open unless it's zone coverage. So I don't expect a ton from the tight ends. I expect them to catch the ball and get some yards. They're not like they don't have anybody like Likely. That's the thing. Now, Zay Flowers can make some plays. I think the big thing for them is they're going to have to be able to be successful running the ball on early downs. I don't think them getting in 3rd and long is going to be a good situation for them. I'll be interested to see if they can hold up, to all that. Because against the Vikings, Wednesday and Thursday, no, their offense couldn't do anything.
And I do think the Vikings have a pretty good defense, so that's a pretty good test. I know we can I get caught up, and it's a mistake I make of looking at the schedule game because you don't necessarily know how good a team's going to be heading into the year. But I look at what the Baltimore Ravens have in front of them schedule-wise. I don't think this is an overly difficult schedule. The divisions all play similar ones, but it looks like a team, obviously they're at Indianapolis. They're home for New Orleans. That could be good. Dallas, we think, will be better. Tennessee, Atlanta, Cleveland. I'm looking at their first 6. This is a team that should get off to a much better start. I would expect them to be a 4-2 team after 6 games. I don't think my expectations are too high for Baltimore. I think that's kind of what's expected, isn't it?
I would say yes. I would think that 4-2 would be the minimum, and they need to start fast. Like you said, last year they started 1-5. And that Buffalo game killed them because they were blowing them out, and then the defense kind of gave it away, and Henry fumbled. So I just think that they're going to be a much better team. You look at last year's team, which was unbelievable because we talked about, and we even said the same thing, best roster in the league. Other than probably Zay Flowers, everybody regressed on that football team. Both sides of the ball regressed, and that's the thing. And I think there's new energy, and I love Harbs, but it was probably time. They needed some new energy, new voices, and the guys have all bought in. The guys, love what's going on. So I got a feeling that it's going to be a good start.
Derrick Henry, we keep talking about all these other running backs that got paid, and I mean there are some great ones in the game. But you look back, Derrick Henry touched the ball 307 times rushing the ball last year. I mean, for a guy that's getting older and maybe he regressed a little bit, average still over 5 a carry last year. I mean, it is pretty remarkable to see just how he can continue to do it. And he's a guy you can't count out. I mean, when we talk about the Ravens, and I know it's Lamar, but Derrick Henry last year, almost 1,600 yards. There's no reason not to expect that again, is there?
No. I mean, I watched him at practice yesterday. I mean, his burst through the hole, fast, through the hole. And he takes care of his body extremely well. He invests in his body. And I think he's going to catch a lot more balls this year, too. So, I think that'll help him out also. So I expect a big year from Derrick Henry. I mean, you look at the Bears, you look at Detroit, what do? They want to pound the ball, and they base it off the outside zone. And Derrick Henry did that at Tennessee. So I'd be disappointed if he didn't have a big year. Declan Doyle's an outstanding coordinator. He does really smart. And the thing that Declan does is he understands what his players can and can't do. So he's going to put them in position to let them do what they can do and do well.
Look, Minter's been a great coordinator. I think he's going to be a really good coach. There's a learning curve for a first-year coach. Vinny, when you look at Jesse Minter coming over, how important is it that he's been there, that he's familiar with the building, and just some of the little things that will make life easier for him as a first-year coach as opposed to going somewhere he's never been? How much does that help a guy like Minter?
Oh, I think it'll help tremendously. It helps tremendously because, he knows the general, he knows Eric, he knows the people in the building.
Right.
So he's very comfortable with the people in the building. So it's not like they know him too. So it's not like he has to come in and try to be somebody he's not. They know who he is, and the strength people, so I think it'll be a smooth transition. It's been thus far. And Jesse guy, and the thing that I like what he's done, anywhere he's got a young coach, he's got a veteran kind of behind him, so I like that, and his dad, Rick Minter's on the staff. Rick's been a head coach in college and stuff, and Rick's been with him in Michigan and the Chargers. So Rick's a very experienced guy too, that his son bounces stuff off. He has a lot of people that he can bounce things off of if need be.
Last thing, and Vinny Cerrato joining us on Miller and Moulton. Thank you so much for the Ravens talk. Hey, I just got to ask, is Penn State gonna make it deep in the are they going to be a Frozen Four team this year? Your son's at Penn State, right, for another year, right?
No, he left. He signed with Carolina.
He's sorry.
He's with the Hurricanes.
So he's with the Hurricanes. That's my mistake. So after the college run, you got a pro hockey play under your thing. So congratulations to that. My mistake. I thought he had one more. I thought he was playing one more year at Penn State, but obviously that program's taken off, and now his training camp starts here in a couple of days as well. Then, right?
He starts September 10th. He's been there since August 2nd, training at in Raleigh. So he's been there lifting and skating, with the guys that are there. So yeah, it's been great. And they start camp on the 10th. They actually play prospect game on the 15th and 17th against Tampa and Nashville, and then they open up September 20th down in Florida against the Panthers preseason. That'll be interesting.
There you go. Vinny, thanks for giving us some time. Good luck to your son this year, and hopefully we can catch up soon.
All right, anytime, guys.
Appreciate it. Vinny Cerrato, former executive in the NFL, now doing afternoons in Baltimore. My mistake. I knew his son played at Penn State. I didn't realize he's playing in the, going for a shot at the NHL. Miller and Moulton.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's that overage trick fooling me there. I didn't look it up. Second round pick, probably going to be in the A this year then. He'll probably be in Charlotte. That would be my guess. Like right now, Ravens or Cincinnati to win that division. Or you want to put Pittsburgh in there, I'll throw Pittsburgh in there. I don't think they will, but Okay. All right. I'm not going to argue with you, Red Dog. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't trust them. Again, Red Dog, you're not wrong. And you're a Steeler fan, right? If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. You know, I'm not going to do any WNBA, but Angel Reese set the rebounding record last night. I'm waiting to see videos of how many Moses Malone she had. How many times did she rebound her own miss? I don't know. I'm not going to speak on it because I didn't see it. I did see some funny videos of what's her name there, that Dejana Carrington getting schooled by Caitlin, and people having some fun with that on social media yesterday. I didn't see a second of it. I have to be honest. I don't watch the Little League World Series. It doesn't do anything for me happy. I only know because you've been speaking about it in here since 6. I didn't see a pitch. I watched the Rays last night.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Tuesday edition. Pretty lively show today. Had the kid in for a couple of hours. He had some good information. He does his homework. He's enjoyed this. I've enjoyed being able to do it with him. I hope you have as well. Look it, we all know anybody who's coming in to help out is not going to be able to replace what we lost. We're all aware of that. But I have to move on, doing it the best that I can. Hope that you will come along for the ride with me, however long this act continues for. But in the meantime, still a pretty good show. Like I said, Jake did a couple of hours with me, and then Pat Kirwan did a couple of segments talking NFL, Bud Elliott, a little college football preview, and then Vinny Cerrato to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. And, you know, we have recency bias, but listening to someone who was an executive say how much he likes that roster and how good he thinks that defense will be. I mean, you have Cincinnati's offense, you have Baltimore's defense. Conversely, what do you like better, Baltimore's offense or Cincinnati's defense? Well, the best player on Cincinnati's defense is gone. They replaced a lot of bodies, but I have a tough time trusting the Cincinnati Bengals. I want them to win. I like Joe Burrow. I just don't trust them. They're more fun. You know, my love of the San Diego Chargers comes from Fouts and Joyner and Jefferson and Winslow. When I look at Cincinnati, that's just a modern-day Charger team to me. Great receivers, quarterback that can throw it around, pretty good running back. I mean, yeah, I like it. I like the style. I want it to be successful. I just don't trust it. All right. Some news on the PGA Tour. They are changing their format, which we all know. They are going to move to this 2-tiered system beginning in 2028. Next year will be the last year of the current way the PGA Tour is played. There will be essentially more signature events because these guys are going to be committed to around 21 weeks, which will include the majors, the playoffs, and the Ryder Cup and/or President's Cup. But what they have added with the season is they are going to finalize the points list in the playoff. And then the top golfers will go to match play. So the series finale will include the top 90 from the points list. They will all retain their cards for the following season. After the championship series finale, the top 32 golfers on their points list will move to the Tour Championship, which will be played over 2 weeks at different courses. The first week of the Tour Championship will be a 3-round group stage competition with 32 golfers competing in 8 groups of 4. So think of it World Cup-esque. That there'll be 32 teams, 4-pod or 4-player brackets. Of that, they will play a round robin, match play. 2 golfers from each group will advance to the second week. And then they will play, in the 32, they're going to play stroke play. If the golfers are tied at the end of group play, they'll have a playoff to determine which players go to the next stage. 16 will advance, and they will play a bracket match play to win the Tour Championship. So they'll play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday we'll have one match to determine who the Tour champ is. So guys 1 through 16, after this 32 is cut in half, we'll play a match play format to determine who the Tour champion is. Initial thoughts, like it, hate it. For me personally, I think it's better than what we're doing. The Tour Championship, I have no interest in. And by no interest, I don't care who wins. Like I watched last week, there was nothing on Sunday. So Wyndham Clark's got this big lead. He blows the lead. He comes back and wins. Great. I realize that there's far more golfers that I think I don't know about dislike, but that I have no feeling about. Because it didn't matter to me who was good. I don't root for Rory. And it's not Rory's fault. They made him the poster child of I hate live golf. And then they tried to include live golf and and just threw Rory out. But I think we like games of consequence of our sports that we don't already love. Like we love football, so we'll watch football. Baseball, we don't seemingly watch until the playoffs at a national level. And then when there's a game of consequence, look at last year's television ratings. Look at Game 5 of Seattle-Detroit. Look at Toronto and Seattle. And then the World Series. I mean, this got good numbers, and we had a Canadian team in it. Now, I think the NBA is a little different because the Knicks were in this year. I don't know what that would have done if it had not been for the Knicks. The Knicks drove the bus in basketball. Hockey got a good bump off of the Olympics. But for a sport like golf, when you're watching the way they used to do the Tour Championship for a few years, when somebody had a big lead starting the final tournament, it didn't even make it to the average fan who's just going to turn it on. What the hell is this? So at least I think match play of whoever out of the top 16 makes it, you're good. As a golf fan, you're going to know who all of them are. I think if you get the right matchups, i.e. Scheffler, Rory, and a few others, maybe there's something there. So I give them credit for trying something different because I don't think the Tour Championship does much for anyone. I would advocate to move the PGA back to August, but I know that's never going to happen. They're not interested. They love the calendar the way it is right now. They love with the players that they have what they call a major tournament every month. They go Players, Masters, PGA, US, British, and they're fine with that. And then the Olympics every 4 years. So they're fine with their schedule. I don't love it, but they're fine with it. And it looks as if Live may be dead. Now, we know they were trying to secure funding and trying to continue for another year. You watch the video of Hatton winning the team championship and trying to run off the stage. He couldn't get out of there fast enough. They're all trying to play on the DP World Tour. And even Bryson DeChambeau, who's been trying to hold this lead together, he's been the guy with Scott O'Neill, the new commissioner, trying to line up sponsors. Bryson on social yesterday said it's been a great ride. I don't know if that's cryptic for saying this is dead, but it sure seems like it to me. Rory said Rory kind of threw shade at the Live guys. Nance just threw shade at the Live guys for what it's worth. The PGA Tour's thriving. I don't know if the PGA Tour is thriving. But does it need Jon Rahm? Does it need Bryson DeChambeau? I don't know. I mean, the way DeChambeau's played, he hasn't helped his own case at all. And Rahm's not a guy to me that moves the needle. Maybe he is to you. I would love them all back there. I like Hatton. I like the way he acts, but they've not done enough playing to warrant that you need them on your tour. I mean, Rahm is certainly good enough. DeChambeau was, don't know if he is right now. But match play starting in 28 for the Tour Championship, something different. I actually think it's a positive. I like the idea of a weekend match play tournament to finish the golf season. I don't know if it brings in more fans, the same fans, or less fans. I applaud them for trying. I applaud you guys for listening. Thank you very much, Tampa, Jacksonville. Those of you listening at twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton or youtube.com/Miller and Moulton. We'll finish the day off with Today Was the Day When, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap. It's Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at @MarkMiller or me at @TheDavidMoulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, he made a cryptic post that, whatever, it's been a great ride. I will see. I just don't know what's left of that tour, Georgie. I don't. And I'm as pro-live as anybody out there. The players are running. They're done with it. The DP World Tour seems poised to take over the spots that they were in, which I think would be very smart, to leave Europe and go to Australia and maybe go to China or wherever else you think you can make money. Now, I do think, I'll be interested when they go to these 2 tiers. Do the places that they're neglecting even support that tour? I don't know if Paul is still listening. I would bet on Michigan if they got an event really supporting it. They don't have to. They shouldn't. But they love their golf there, and they support the women's tournaments, the senior tournaments. So I would imagine they would support a tier 2 tournament. But what do I know? All I know is I got to book some guests for tomorrow. Okay, I got a little better than I thought. Okay. Ooh, that was a bad drink of coffee right there. That was a mistake. There were grounds in that. That was awful. For those of you that were listening and asking, it looks like we've locked in Dave Waters for the Gators on Thursdays at 7:38, which is fantastic. JP's in Arizona. If I do it, I would have to tape it. And I will probably reach out to him at some point, but we'll see. I do, Deadstroke. I do.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Appreciate everybody. Thanks for listening. Tampa, Jacksonville, online, those listening to the podcast. We appreciate every one of you. Trent will be back tomorrow and for the rest of the week. We will have David Behrman on the show tomorrow. Other than that, TBD. But we'll figure it out between now and then. Starting to get that football lineup locked in. Very excited. Brooks Austin going to join me on Thursday at 9. He is another very smart college football person. Breaks down a lot of film. Does a lot on Georgia, but also very good in the SEC. So we're going to preview the Dogs with him and some other college football thoughts out of Brooks on Thursday. We will be talking to Dave Waters every Thursday, 7:38. You heard him last week. Gator information, outstanding stuff from David. So I'm excited to have him on all year long. So we're getting ready. Football's around the corner. Our usual guests, Chris Perkins, Roy Cummings. Got to figure out who we're going to get with the Jags this year with JP Shadrick moving on to Arizona, but we'll lock that down as well. And obviously Pat Kirwan, Bud Elliott, Lee Sterling, Dr. Roto, all going to be a part of the show all season long on Miller and Moulton.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1910 we start. Yellow cab founded. I mean, a lot of you don't even know what a cab, you young people that are listening. What's a cab? I do Uber. Today in 1944, Paris was taken back. Charles de Gaulle gives his speech, and Dietrich von Schultz surrenders Paris, and he disobeyed Hitler and didn't burn the city down. 1946, Hogan wins his first of 9 majors, winning the PGA at the Portland Golf Club. You know, I thought I was going to be playing that course in 2 weeks. I was going to make a trip to Oregon. It got canceled. I have a friend, Big Joe. He's a member there. Kind of looking forward to it. But Hogan won his first major at the Portland Golf Club today in 1946. Today in 1958, you could finally buy your first package of ramen noodles. The first pre-cooked instant noodles. Chicken ramen available. How many of you lived on ramen in college? 10 for $1 back in the day. You could not beat ramen noodles for the price. Arthur Ashe wins the U.S. Open men's single title in 68, obviously becoming the first of African-American to do that. Elton John made his first appearance in the U.S. today at the Troubadour in West Hollywood. It went really well. People loved it, and therefore then loved him. Springsteen released his third album today in 1975, Born to Run. It's pretty good, by the way. When the title track could arguably be the third best song on the album, that's all I'm saying. All right. Today in 76, another little music ditty. Boston released their self-titled debut album, mostly recorded in Tom Scholz's basement studio. One of the best-selling albums of all time. It is such a great album. It really is. That was one of the albums that my Aunt Renee and Uncle Larry, my parents fought a lot. We ended up at the grandparents' house. And my Aunt Renee's only 10 years older than I am. And my Uncle Larry was only, he's not with us anymore, but I think he was like 13, 14 years older. And so this is 75, 76, 70, through the late 70s. And I remember that my Uncle Larry or Aunt Renee, one of them, had the Boston album. I used to wear that out and Steve Miller, Fly Like an Eagle. And I was like 6. So when all the kids in high school got into classic rock, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I've been listening to this stuff since it was out. Doc Gooden became the youngest to win 20 games today in 1985. He did so at the age of 20 years, 9 months, and 9 days. 86, Paul Simon releases Graceland. It would be Album of the Year and win a Grammy. Miles Davis gave his last live performance today in 1991. The great trumpeter was at the Hollywood Bowl in L.A. Tiger wins the U.S. Amateur today in 96. And in 1998, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the debut album from Lauryn Hill, is released. It would win 5 Grammys, including Album of the Year. Althea Gibson, first African-American to win Wimbledon. Sean Connery and Regis Philbin would have all celebrated birthdays today. Raleigh Fingers is 80. Gene Simmons is 77. Elvis Costello, 72. Let's see. I don't know if I ever saw Raleigh Fingers pitch. I've seen Kiss several times, and I've seen Elvis Costello. Director Tim Burton is 68. Billy Ray Cyrus is 65. I can honestly say I've never seen him, and nor would I ever want to. Cornelius Bennett, he was really good. He's 61. Albert Bell, also really good. He's 60. Claudia Schiffer is 56. She's still pretty good. Marvin Harrison, 54. Blake Lively, she's 39. And Max Muncy is 36 years old today.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
In a story that Felipe would tell us all, I could do this. Faith Tinkley was heading to the Bahamas on Saturday to pick her parents up. She's a young pilot, 23 years old. And she was leaving Boca to the Bahamas to pick up mom and dad. How about that? Hey, can you grab the plane and come pick me up in the Bahamas? Sure, mom. Anyhow, she was flying a Piper PA-30 propeller plane, which had problems. Her right engine failed, and her landing gear broke. So the young pilot said, I'm going to set this sucker down in the Atlantic. And then she swam away unharmed. That's pretty amazing. She said, I'm incredibly fortunate and relieved to share that I was able to swim away from this incident. After deciding a landing at Boca Raton Airport was not the safest option, I continued to the coast. During the descent, my primary focus was ensuring the safety of everyone around me. Holy Toledo. For the bad, we come to Lee County in Buckingham. And I like Buckingham. Nice area. I could live in Buckingham. I really could. But 2 people were arrested and 136 birds were removed when deputies uncovered 2 separate cockfighting operations over the weekend. According to the Lee County Sheriff's Office, I know I shouldn't laugh, boxing gloves, B12 injections, and several injured roosters were found during the execution of a search warrant. Raul Romeros was arrested on animal cruelty charges. In an unrelated incident on Sunday, there was another cockfighting ring discovered in Lehigh Acres. Yelendis Hernandez was arrested after deputies removed 53 birds from his home. I know it's illegal and I know it's bad and I can't help it. I'd go watch one. I would. I know that makes me a terrible person. I get it. I understand it. And you can text the hate mail. You can email me the hate mail. Hell, my phone number's on an ad. You can call me and yell at me. But I'd go watch. I don't know what to tell you. For the ugly, we go to Palm Harbor, Florida, where, well, we had an arrest on a golf course. It was at Landsbrook Golf Club on Saturday. The victim was a 15-year-old. The suspect is a 50-year-old. Rhett Drummond was arguing with the teen who was apparently playing too slowly. The affidavit says both were being disrespectful towards each other, but they cooled off and went to separate areas of the course. Apparently, the old man had had enough. The teen told police he tried to drive away, but Drummond crashed his golf cart into him. He then grabbed the teen by the shirt collar and threw him to the ground before punching the 15-year-old. He was charged with 3rd-degree felony child abuse and booked into the Pinellas County Jail. And that, my friends, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, August the 25th, 2026, and it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. You know the drill. Great pay, great jobs, benefits, the whole enchilada. Go to capecops.com, capecops.com. Look it, I do not like slow play. I do not think slow play is worth fighting over. You know, occasionally, do you have to hit into a group? Probably not. But if you got someone that can drive the ball up close just to remind them, you know, that guy that hits 220, let him in first off the tee. Let him just slide one down there and see what happens. All right, I'm joking. All right, Rays and Tigers again today in Detroit. Tampa favored on the road. Red Sox, pretty good favorites on the road in Miami. Rockies and Nats. Astros and Yankees. Big series for the Astros on the road. They're no longer in first place in the division. They fired their GM yesterday. We'll see what happens with Houston. The Blue Jays host Kansas City. Brewers are in New York to take on the Mets. Braves and Dodgers tonight on TBS. Couple of first place teams. Glasnow on the mound for the Dodgers. Rangers and White Sox. Orioles, Cardinals. Guardians, Angels, Philadelphia in Seattle, the Twins in Sacramento against the Athletics, Pittsburgh's in San Diego, the Cubs in Arizona, and the Reds are in San Francisco. So there is a little bit of what's going on tonight. Tomorrow on the show, David Behrman will join us. He'll probably have some picks for these college games, maybe a few more over-unders to salivate on as you get ready for the start of the season, maybe a playoff team or two to think about. I know he's got his final college football podcast or preseason podcast later this week as well. We will talk with David. A couple other things on tap. We'll figure it out as we work through this. But Brooks Austin and David Waters will join us on Wednesday. Looking forward to that, to talk a little Gators and a little Dogs. Trying to line up someone from the Longhorns for tomorrow. Can Arch Manning handle the pressure? As we'll try to work through between now and the end of next week as many of the top 10 teams in college that we can get to. You know, we had Ohio State yesterday. I've got a Georgia guest coming up. We're going to get a Texas guest on the show. Probably, you know, obviously we'll do some Canes talk again. We've previewed the Canes a few times, but get the latest from camp with Miami because this for Miami, it's obviously we know what they did last year. And people have wanted to say Miami's back forever. Well, if the U's back, then they need to win the ACC this year. And that should be obvious. But the two things that, you know, they've not won the conference yet, and they've always managed to get in their own way. Last year against Louisville and SMU nearly cost them a shot at the playoff. This year, the schedule also very, very favorable. They are stacked everywhere. Did they build has Mario done enough at the line of scrimmage that you can roll this over? Their offensive line, not as highly touted as their defensive line, but he's recruited well and done a good job with that as far as bringing in talented players in the portal. So I don't have the worries with their line. We'll get into Miami before their first game, Labor Day weekend as well. A few other schools we'll probably try to check on. I'm working with my old friend Dave Bartu to see if he wants to talk Oregon. May have to kind of tape that because, well, you know, Pacific time at all. But tomorrow we'll do a little college talk. We'll do a little betting talk. Might even do some Dolphins talk as we are now just 15 days away from the start of the National Football League season. 4 days away, we get going in college. The PGA Tour making big announcements today on how they're going to finish their season when they go to the two-tiered system. And what will we hear from Jed York today? Was $140 too much for a prostitute at a mobile home park? What else was he getting? And was it the first time that he's done that? Is that why he filed for divorce in May? Miller and Moulton, having a little fun. And Trent Balley will join us on the show tomorrow. I want to thank my son Jake for doing a couple of hours, Pat Kirwan, Bud Elliott, Vinny Cerrato, all on the show today. We'll line up the guests for tomorrow and knock them down again and talk college and pro football, maybe a little baseball talk. They're going to vote in Tampa this week, I think, on the stadium and finally get that sucker moving along as well. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., Miller and Moulton.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at @MarkMiller or me at @DavidMoulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see what I can do about the Twitch thing. I'll see if there's anything on my end. Have a good one.